I'm implying that for one person to stay awake nonstop would be expensive in terms of potions.
No, they just are their warlock.
Well,
Sold
maybe
their
she did
soul
show
to their
magic.
boss.
And probably as you're about wrapping up your breakfast, Freeman, is when the party would arrive at the inn.
What are you all doing here?
We
Who?
came to meet you.
Did you bring the owls?
Who?
No.
How did you manage to ditch 12 owls?
With great difficulty.
With
You killed
great
them, didn't you?
violence. Incredible amounts of violence.
I see. Well, I guess that makes things easier.
Fortunately, it was all part of the Gnomish Liberation Front, known secessionists and traitors to the glorious Evrevian Empire.
Oh, they didn't leave paperwork laying around about that, did
They
they?
in fact left paperwork that just about spelled out exactly what they were.
Well, I guess that made the guard's job a lot easier.
The only thing they
Although,
could have
it
done
does
was
leave us
sign
without an
entry.
inn for you guys, so we'll have to get some rooms here.
Something a bit more subdued if they have it. I'm still seeing gold when I close my eyes.
You're still single when you close your eyes?
No, he's still seeing gold.
Oh, gotcha.
The rooms you paid for were offensively gold.
Oh, I know. I stayed in one. It's kind of a inside joke with gnomes. They have a different definition of finest, and I forgot that. It's been a few decades since I've extensively conversed with a gnome. Well, regardless, sir, what is your name? To the barkeep.
Erkin.
Nurkin and Erkin?
Erkin. E-R-K-I-N.
Is he just human male?
He appears to be a portly elf.
Ah. Well, Erkin, we will need some rooms. Just two more of the same that I have right now.
Alright. We got rooms, plenty. Food, too, if you need it. You paying up front?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just book them for 2 days after today. 4 gold a room, so be about 20.
Would you guys like one of the combo suites with the interconnecting common room between the bedrooms?
Ooh, yeah, let's do one of those.
Yeah, that would be
Excellent.
convenient.
One adventure special.
It's much more defensible.
The door is iron banded to help reinforce it.
What of the windows?
The windows latch, but they are made of glass.
Ah.
It is on the 3rd floor, though.
Ah. This is acceptable. All right. So Soup needs to change name. Soup, bunking with me, and then everybody else will take the new common room.
Oh, yes.
Sounds like a plan.
Indeed.
All right, 20 more gold. So I'm assuming we'll now take the time for the party to fill me in on the entire events of last night.
Yes.
I mean, you guys don't have to tell me.
Except for the parts that we lie about.
What's your deception?
+6. I have a chance to bullshit you, and I'm gonna try it.
I mean, not if we both roll 20s.
It's not a very good attempt at bullshit.
No, it's not a very good lie. I can see right through without even having to roll.
And I cut right back to actual fact.
You just get a like thumbs on the suspenders. Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Fine. There was no Tarask.
When you say there wasn't a Tarask, there were 2 Tarasks.
Has anybody actually heard from Mister or no?
I haven't.
Nope.
One moment.
I was just pinging him. Just to see if he's available or not. I'm sure he'll pop it in message. But regardless. I think we should see if there's any potent casters in the city.
What kind?
Somebody with 3rd level abjuration magic.
So you can put non-detect on yourself?
Yeah. That's why I was gonna talk to Nurkin, but she's the night shift lady here. She has prestidigitation and at least unseen servitor or animate objects, possibly. I've seen her cast them.
Yes, I've seen a person do some mental math before. I'm certain they might have an associate's degree.
No, I mean unseen servant would be, low level caster, but animate object's pretty high level, isn't it?
She used animate object?
I'm not sure which it was. The mop was moving on its own.
Probably unseen servant.
Yeah.
Animate object only lasts 10 minutes. That would be quite the flex. Hey, I use animate objects to do basic
Have you seen
chores.
Fantasia?
Yeah.
No, that's just Tiny Servant, though. You don't want to use animate objects for that.
Yeah. Like
yeah,
Tiny
that's
Servant, which would still
it's
be a higher
most
level
likely.
spell, and
Yeah.
it's unseen servant is the lowest level spell that would have that. It's also a ritual, which would mean it's the most practical.
Yeah, the cheapest to reuse over and over again.
You use Unseen Servant to do chores around the inn, and then you use Animate Objects to pull people's chairs out from under them when they're going to sit down.
Oh no, you don't even need animate object for that one. You just need illusion magic. You make a fake chair next to you and wait. Much cheaper that way and far funnier. But anyway, yeah. Well, I'll run upstairs and change into attire 2, the aristocrat clothes. Although I will wear the just my regular clothes, not put anything extra fancy on. And no disguise kit, so just Friedman's face.
Okay.
And then, yeah, well, we're in the upper district, so let's look for some rich bored magic person.
All right. Well, I mean, if you were to ask at the inn, which I assume you would think too, they would be able to point you out that that there is like a shop for selling like magical sundries and things like spell components and stuff like that, and the proprietor probably has some magical knowledge.
All right. Whereabouts is that?
It's about 3 blocks down.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll finish up our breakfast and head for there.
The specification on there now has me picturing a barbarian shopkeep at a mage store.
Speaking of mage and magic, Gilbert, you have more knowledge and under as well. Is there a better spell than non-detect for what I'm trying, or is it basically just non-detect?
What are you
Non-detect's
trying to
only
do?
Non-detect
make
is
Freeman
like
hard to find.
Non-detect is the best thing you're gonna find at low levels.
Okay. Yeah, and at this point, all we can really do is low levels because don't want to burn through cash. Just making Freeman hard to find.
Yeah, like if you really wanted to make yourself hard to find, you'd be a wizard, be 20th level, and be constantly casting shit like Mind Blank on yourself.
Yeah. Well, mind isn't the biggest issue because he's got the ring. Freeman's not easy to track through the mental stuff. It's more of
Mind Blank does other stuff as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's more of them, being able to hone in on us so quickly. I mean, the first 3 purple knights that came at us were like just showed up outside of our camp. So I don't know exactly what they were using to track. And the owls must have, knew which direction we were going and settled in Tamway, waited for us to show up, and then followed us from there and grouped up. So if we can lower their ability to track the party as a whole, I mean specifically Friedman, but the only problem is non-detect's only 8 hours, so we'd constantly have to be getting it cast, which is not ideal.
Yeah, the best spell after that is Mind Blank, and that's a 24-hour duration. Those are like the only 2 spells I can recall off the top of my head that are going to let you act normally and still have the effects on you, because both of them will protect you from divination spells.
Okay. So we head to the shop.
All right. So you head to the shop, and you see, and it's rather plain looking outside, just kind of a papered over storefront, so that you can't see inside. Though the paper is like haphazard, like it's meant to be papered up like that, and you can see on like gold lettering, that contrasts against the paper, declaring it to be the Cat in the Hat.
Oh,
Magical
God.
miscellanea and sundries.
I assume I'm accompanying him on his shopping.
I think the entire party would be with us for this.
Yeah, I'll be dressed in similarly fine clothes. Though this time not a dress, I don't think.
What are we doing again? I
We're
blanked
trying
out.
to make Freeman hard to find.
I think Underdark's fucking with us. This entire town is being themed after Dr. Seuss. Although I don't recall a book from Dr. Seuss about owls slaughtering gnomes, but I'm certain there's something.
I mean, he didn't just write happy stories.
Well, we did hear a Who, although I haven't found Horton yet.
Bet you $10 the shop owner's name is Horton now.
No, the shop is probably on Mulberry Street, though. By the way, inside
Alright.
the shop, are there by any chance a pair of large crates, like large enough to hold a small person?
No, there is not. So you guys are going in?
Yeah, is he eating his breakfast of green eggs and ham?
He
Of
is.
course not.
As you see, this tabaxi sitting behind what appears to be like a round desk in the center of the establishment. And if you kind of squint and look at it a bit, you realize it's almost shaped like an upside down top hat.
Ah. Are you celebrating your unbirthday today?
Well, no. As you look at this proprietor, he's dressed like a stereotypical wizard. Pointy, floppy hat, robes. You can see a staff leaning against the inside of the the desk. Well, welcome to that Cat in the Hat. What do you need?
Well, I'm looking for somebody that might be able to write up some scrolls or cast undetect on me. Or non-detect, sorry.
Non-detection.
Non-detection. Yep. Well, Friedman would say it right. Jacob cannot say it right.
Non-detection. That's a bit of a higher level spell. You're looking to just get it cast on you?
As soon as possible, and then maybe have some scrolls written up of it as well, so I can recast it later.
Well, scrolls will be an issue. No one really keeps scrolls of non-detection around. Usually, if you need that type of spell work, you learn it yourself.
Yeah, I'm not the learning kind. I'm the using kind.
We don't have anybody who can. We don't have any wizards, that is to say.
Mister is, but he's not a high-level wizard. He's more artificer.
Mm.
I see. Why do you need non-detection cast on you? It's a bit of a specific spell, even for adventurers.
Well, let's just say, I went on vacation and I'm back, and where I was vacationing was relatively hot, and somebody wants me back there.
Ah, I see.
Please leave my store.
I was waiting for that. That's like what everybody's reaction is. Oh, you're back from the hells. You should leave.
No, that's not at all what he thinks you mean. He thinks you meant you went like, on a vacation down south, you knocked some poor wizard up, and now she's trying to hunt you down to get because of the child.
I was gonna say it does kind of sound like he was talking about something more like that.
Yeah, good thing I used the pseudo phrasing that I did.
Before he went with that, I was gonna recommend the vengeful magic excuse.
Turns out all of these things
I did
are
on
true.
accident.
He
Yeah, you did.
knocked up a fiend in the hells.
Oh, she was a fiend, all right.
Well,
that would actually be funnier than what I have written up for the what my trip in hell took place. Instead of stumbling across some random demon or devil plot and just knock somebody up, and their dad's pissed at me. Either way, so he buys the story.
he appears to. Yeah. Well, he buys a story. May not be the story you meant him to buy, but he buys a story. And and says, well, I didn't prepare non-detection today, but if you were to return tomorrow, I could cast it on you. As for spell scrolls, well, it would take about 8 days or so to scribe up such a scroll, and it's going to be pricey.
Yeah, that's what I was remembering. I didn't quite remember how. Out of character. I don't remember what the time duration was for a third level. I knew it was long, but
Yeah, a third level scroll takes 8 days of work to create.
Okay. Yep. So not something we'll be able to get before we leave on the ship, but at least he can. I can pay him to cast it on me. 3 times a day for the next couple of days once he prepares it. So we'll only have to worry about the 1 day today.
Well,
so
it's
then
only for
I guess
8 hours. So.
Yeah. Well, I 8 hours in the morning. Come back, 8 hours in the evening, come back, 8 hours for sleep, return in the morning.
Mm.
So yeah, 3 castings a day. And then that's what I would discuss with him. Like I don't feel like dialoguing all of that under.
Well, as I said, I don't have it prepared today.
Yeah, we can come back
as for price, you're looking at having to have it cast multiple times. I think I can cut you a bit of a break. I'll charge you 300 gold per casting.
Well, I'm going to be needing it for at least 3 days, so how about 200?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay, 1 second. I really need to pick up proficiency in persuasion. I'm the only one ever doing the talking like this
Mhm.
for bartering and stuff.
Yeah,
You
most
don't
of my
have
talking is like
proficiency in
with people
persuasion?
over
No, I
non-money
have proficiency in
related things.
deception. I typically lie my way through situations, but this is just persuasion is usually used in the process of bartering. You can't lie about a price in bartering, so I can never use deception in this situation.
What if you tried using reverse psychology?
Oh, that would be far too much
Shit,
thinking
next
to
time,
actually word it
next time
correctly.
ask me. The fuck? Next time ask me, okay? +10.
Well, you can aid me in the convincing of him, but I still have to make the roll.
I thought it was only I can only aid
If
if you're
you're
proficient also.
No, only the aider has to be proficient.
Ah,
It's
okay.
it's
Then I aid.
it's a cheeky thing you can do sometimes. If you have somebody who's proficient and somebody who's not, but the person who's not proficient has, almost as good a score. But yeah, my persuasion is 1. So can Ipfan help me with the bartering?
I mean, you're all there.
That's-
Yeah, I would say so.
All right.
Okay.
Good thing.
And he hums like, no. No. What I will do, however, is not actually tell anybody about this little deal. Should someone come looking to, about a person like yourself that was on vacation previously.
These terms I accept.
Great.
Freeman will pull out 30 platinum pieces. Here's a payment in advance for tomorrow morning, just so you know I'm on the up and up.
Oh, I sincerely doubt that, but I appreciate the gesture all the same.
All right. Well, do you mind if we peruse your shop?
Not at all.
We're adventurers?
Feel free. After all, we've already made an accord regarding your non-detection tomorrow, so feel free to shop around. Let me know if you have any questions or need anything.
All right. So what do we see in this shop in terms of items?
So you can see various spell components that you would recognize people having used. Some of them, what you would normally expect for like a component pouch. Some more costly, gems and the like. You also see, a small selection of potions. It looks like it's mostly just common potions. And some scrolls, though they appear to all be common scrolls, like first level.
Okay.
He has almost 20 copies of Unseen Servant scrolls. It's literally, he has more of those than any other scroll.
It seems to be a common item. Everybody wants an unseen servant, it looks like.
Those who can afford it, they want it.
One second, I am actually pulling up the oops, no, I didn't want to click that. I just opened like 30 tabs. Oopsie. I'm just pulling up the first level spell list.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, with the way that we're running spell scrolls, I could use them in combat, correct?
Yeah, you can
So
use...
like reaction shield I could use as well? Reaction is the specific that I'm
Yes.
asking about. Okay.
Yeah, you would normally, using a scroll, you just basically use the scroll as whatever casting time it is, so whether it's bonus action, action, reaction, 10 minutes, what have you. The only thing is you can't use a scroll to do a ritual. It always consumes the scroll. And it would just, but it would still involve that Arcana check. But yeah, it could all happen as a reaction.
Okay. Well, then I will definitely pick up whatever he has available for shield. However many he has.
He has 5.
Okay. Well, what has he got listed for?
He has them listed for 100 gold apiece.
Oh. Sold.
Excellent, excellent. Happily takes it and says, if you need more of these, I can have some more ready for you tomorrow.
I think 5 would do me quite plenty.
Any other low-level scrolls that you might be looking to buy in bulk?
Freeman's pondering. I'll keep
Wait a minute.
perusing. Go ahead.
How big is our budget? 'Cause if we have
Yes.
space in our budget, it might be.
Yes. The budget is yes.
I don't think it would hurt to pick up a few extras just to have around the group for whoever needs it.
Oh yes. Yeah. Why don't we? Yeah, we'll place an order for 5 more spell scrolls of shield.
Of course. That won't be a problem.
That's a good point, Teresa.
What's everyone's passive perceptions?
17.
21.
26.
Right, I forgot. Stupid question with this group.
17, 21, 26. Oh, never mind.
So, yeah, as you pay for these scrolls and place your order, and you're kind of putting them in your bag, one thing you would notice, Freeman, is that these scrolls do appear to be unusually uniform. Normally, scrolls are like hand copied and the like. But these, while they do appear to be handwritten, they appear to be almost identical, like physically identical to each other.
Oh, is he the wizard that you are? The one that does the scribing stuff? On Monday? Is
Order of
He's gotta
Scribes
be.
Wizard.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
I mean, he didn't say, he didn't ask, but I'm just letting you know. Like that is something odd
Yeah.
about these scrolls. They have none of the variation you would normally expect.
Well, I will make a comment / compliment of his outstanding penmanship.
Well, we aim to please.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to grab a couple identifies too, just in case, like in this situation where Mister's not available. Because I can always cast it with a spell scroll. I'll grab, does he have 2 or 3 of them laying around?
He does.
Alright. I am going to real quick change my money back to my total and just do a lump sum math at the end of today for what we end up buying. Does anybody else want any, first level spells?
Are all these spells wizard spells, or is Shield of Faith on the table?
I am standing right here.
Well, paladins can't write scrolls, so
I'll just cast it on the person.
yeah, but a person having the spell scroll saves you the need to cast it and the concentration slot, because that's concentration, isn't
I'm
it?
supposed to. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, under paladins, there's no paladin that can write a spell scroll, right? Unless there's something you can do with cross.
Well, any spellcaster can create a scroll of a spell that they know and have prepared, as long as they are proficient in the Arcana skill.
Ah,
I'm very much not proficient in the Arcana.
Then I'm afraid you would be unable to scribe scrolls.
I am proficient in Arcana, but the only spell I have is Druidcraft.
It's your question about scrolls. The scrolls he has seem to be wizard scrolls. Do you ask him about getting Shield of Faith?
Yeah.
wait. Actually, no. We'll keep identify because I as a person have Freeman has identify. I forgot that I'm cleric, but we can give them to other people to be able to use. Because the spell scroll doesn't need the pearl, correct? It's just
Correct.
consumed. Okay, yeah. So that would be good for people who don't have identify, and if they're not with the party, they can cast it on something quickly, ish, without needing a pearl laying around.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Sleuth. Did you say you were asking him?
Yeah. In particular, I'm looking for Shield of Faith, Hex, or Hunter's Mark. Either one works.
Well, he says, well, I'm afraid we don't have any of those in stock. However, I can get them for you by tomorrow. How many of each are you looking for?
Does anyone else need them, or am I the only one? I take it I'm the only one. 2 Shield of Faith, 2 Hex, 1 Hunter's Mark. 5 total.
Sure, I can have that all ready for you by tomorrow.
All right. Oh, fuck. All right. Well, I'm set then.
What did you specify? I'm writing it all down.
2 Shield of Faith, 2 Hex, 1 Hunter's Mark.
Oops, I meant to shift enter.
Mostly taking Hunter's Mark over an extra Hex because it'll help if there's something fast that we're going to have to track down more than once.
All right. Anybody else here want spell scrolls to have? First level, at least.
Nope.
And you said he has common potions. Does he have potions of Wakeful Rest?
Uh, you mean Watchful Rest?
Watchful Rest. I'm sorry. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
call it Wakeful.
And yes, he does have some.
Okay.
He has 3.
Okay, I'm gonna grab all of them then.
Okay.
Those are going with your price 80, or is there a different price here?
No, they're 80.
Okay. All right. So total today is 880 gold, and then tomorrow will be 1,000. Unless anybody else wants stuff. Gilbert, Lucina.
No.
Well, that would be a lot more than 5. I mean, I'm sure the shopkeeper would love if we spent another 79,000 in his store, but
You should basically buy out the store.
I mean, that would be all of our gold. Oh, actually, speaking of all of our gold, let me. Where is this inventory? Inventory. I will pull out the alchemical ruby necklace that's worth 2,000 gold pieces, and so I only have the one,
Mhm.
and see if he'd be interested in buying it.
He would, yes.
And then I'd like to get his opinion of it as well, because you said these are like alchemically pure, like the ruby is too perfect. Like
Yeah.
the uncanny valley of a gem, basically.
Right, yeah, and he looked, it's like, yeah, this is unlike any ruby he has ever seen before. And that certainly makes it valuable. He doesn't think that such a gem would have any, direct, magical properties. Generally speaking, for components, a ruby is a ruby. But there are people who collect curiosities and are willing to pay a lot for them. And rather than you have to do the footwork of trying to hunt down such people, especially since he tends to know them, he, basically he'll pay you the base price for it, and then he'll just, sell it somewhere at auction.
Sell it himself.
Yeah.
All right. And then, well, this bit of conversation has been going on for a while with this guy. Do you have this? And as we're conversing with him, Freeman like make a I don't really like the basis of this. I want to make like an insight check to see for the insightful manipulator. Like I want to make an insight check to see how intelligent he is compared to me. Because it's literally, greater than, less than, or equal to. And spending so much time, I was wondering if I could make an insight check roll, to, grasp his true intellect. Because I only need a minute to do this, but we spent more than a minute with him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead. Make a,
Rolled higher than a 10, so it's 18.
How intelligent are you?
I have a score of 12.
Okay. He is somewhere in the range of 16 to 20.
Okay. Yeah, we're just using numbers to make it easier. Okay. Then I would like to pull out the so I have a platinum chain that's worth 2,000 gold that has a weird, strange looking diamond that's worth about 600 gold pieces on it. I do not have the room number for that under. Do you know which item I'm talking about?
Nope.
Okay. I did not ask for the room number when I wrote that down.
Do you remember what floor it was on?
It was the first floor. We found it there was 2 platinum chains that had nothing with them, and then a platinum chain that had a diamond pendant, but the diamond looked strange to us.
I think I might know where that is. Let me double check.
Okay. I apologize. I should have asked for the room number for that weird item. Because it wasn't an art object.
Yeah, I've got it here. Okay, so what's your question about it?
I'm gonna after selling him the alchemical ruby and his comment about its uniqueness and rarity, I'd like to not offer this up to him to look at, but it's like I'm not interested in selling this. I was just wondering if you could give me more information. Like what is your opinion of this one? Because this diamond is also strange, and I'll pay you for your time. I just found it odd, although I am keeping this one.
Well, he says, well, if you, why don't we call it 50 gold then to have me look at it?
Okay. Find this acceptable?
Okay. So he looks at it. You can see him cast a spell on it. Looks like he might be casting Identify. And he hums and he hands it back and says, well, it is a, like the rubies, it's an unusual, diamond there and quite valuable as a result. Be a bit of a waste to use it as a spell component, though. As for, other uses it might have, there are spells that. I shouldn't say spells. There is magic that does involve gems of perfect quality. But typically, he kind of gives you a bit of a side eye here, that type of magic involves the claiming and binding of souls. Who are you again?
Well, let's see. What's the last name I've gone by? Tanner. I didn't say the first part out loud. I was trying to remember what name I was going by right now. I just figured I'd say that for our amusement because you were thinking the exact same thing I was thinking. Wait, did you say that out loud?
Well, go ahead and make a deception check.
Look at that, a 21.
And he says, all right, Tanner. Well, I don't know where you got this from, but if a being comes to you and says to give them the soul back, they might be referring to this, assuming it actually has one in it. Unfortunately, I can't really tell you that. That's a bit out of my speciality.
No, that's understandable and acceptable. I appreciate it. I mean, it's more information than I had. Like I said, I got this right before I went on vacation and completely forgot about it. When I pulled out that other one, it jogged my memory, and it's like, oh yeah, I've got that weird one. So I appreciate it.
Of course, does explain
Then-
a bit more about the non-detection, I guess.
And then, Freeman will kind of look around, and it looks like everybody's kind of wrapping up. We'll get up a total here and pay you for what we've got here, and then tomorrow when we come back, we'll pick up the rest of our grocery list. I'm trying to think of what to call it, and just the rest of the items we have on order with you, and you can start casting non-detect on me until we leave the city.
Of course. It is a deal. So you guys then leave, or what?
Yeah, I think we'll head back for the raccoon for now.
All right. Do you guys do anything else this day in the city?
Anybody want to do anything?
So we're already out shopping. Can I borrow like 50 gold to get a new set of armor? A little sturdier than the leather I have.
Yeah. I think we actually have a spare set of studded laying around, but yeah, you
Oh,
can.
well,
I'm sure
I
it
can,
wouldn't be hard to pick up some studded leather.
I can just go get a set tailored if we already have them.
I also need to go get new plate because this one is.
Oh yeah,
ruined.
that's right. We got wrecked plate. Okay, I'll take that out of the party money because that's a lot. Gilbert, are you back?
No, but I am.
Welcome back. Are there? I mean, you're not really an arcane person, so spell scrolls aren't that useful. Are there any spell scrolls that you'd like for us to cast on you in combat?
Not off
Any
the
bu-
top, not off the top
Yeah,
of
any
my head.
first level buff spells?
However, there is a different sort of scroll that we need to have prepared.
What's that?
You remember?
Oh, the wedding contract.
Hmm.
That
getting
would
married?
be, well, technically. We're playing a game of technicalities with this devil that's hunting me,
Ah, but it's a devil.
and they
They live-
love technicalities.
They love technicalities, and more importantly, they live in the details.
And they're quite fond of honoring contracts.
I see.
So the plan is Stone Soup and I are going to get married, and in the wedding, the marriage certificate contract of engagement, we're going to write that my soul belongs to her.
Yes. And most
So if
importantly,
anybody
this is not going to be like a till death to us part deal. This is going to be an in perpetuity.
Because
Meaning
she can't die.
Yeah, well, no, I can die, but even if I die, it still belongs to me. It'll just belong to my soul.
Yep. Yeah, so we need to find a I guess that'd be like a clergyman, right under? Like a priest would be the most apt, or maybe a priest/lawyer for writing up that specific of a contract.
We live in a very convenient time because I think around now all of the scholars who are really good at writing would also be priests, which is very convenient.
All right.
Yeah,
and
so-
then-
Yeah, you would normally need like a priest or a cleric or a paladin or somebody that can cast ceremony to actually do the, marriage type stuff. As for a contract like that, I mean, anyone literate could write up such a contract, but that's not how magic works. Just because you write a contract doesn't.
Yeah, it needs to be written by a wizard who can make it magically binding.
Oh no, I'm not necessarily trying to make it magically binding. I just need it to be legally binding. I'm hoping the devil will respect it.
Yeah,
Devil
but the Hell's
respect are
legal
2 words
system-
that don't go
Yeah.
along very well.
Yeah. The Hell's legal system is based on how magic works, so it would have to be magically binding for them to have any, for it to have any weight for what we actually want to do.
So you're
It would
saying
actually-
if we get this contract written out, they're gonna look at it and be like, oh well, this contract isn't actually enforcing itself via magic, so
Yeah.
it means nothing.
Yeah, they'll just snap their fingers and it will incinerate in your hand as you hold it up trying to use it as a lever.
Damn.
So yeah, we would need a more potent wizard.
So that's interesting. That means a devil won't care about shit like the deed to your house or a person's will or things like that.
Nope.
Huh.
Yeah, like if for example, one of my previous characters for Friday had a magic item in his stash and he didn't know about it. Like he wasn't magically attuned or anything like that. So magic items were just regular items to him. They were gold value. And a devil came and took all of his stuff because he wanted the one magic item. They don't care about personal property or anything like that. Well, that's my stuff. I don't care. I wanted it. But they would
So,
respect a
the-
contract bound by magic.
Yeah, devils, to a lesser extent demons, are bound by the laws of hell, which are magically enforced. but so they're very lawful in the sense that they cannot violate the laws of hell. However, that doesn't mean that the laws of hell have any standing with the material realm, or vice versa.
Well,
So if
the
you
laws
were
of hell
trying
outstanding.
to protect,
Oh.
Freeman's soul by transferring it to you, you would want to somehow, convince
devil
like
write up
a
the
devil
contract.
to execute the contract.
Oh, well,
Interesting.
speak of the devil, we know a devil who would actually laugh his ass off writing up that contract.
Oh my god. Yeah, we could do that.
So, well, shit, the only problem is that's really far away.
Yeah.
What
Well,
have
I mean,
gotten myself into?
as we're walking back to the inn, Stone Soup and Freeman are throwing this idea back and forth. Teresa's listening in, is like, what the hell am I what am I getting wrapped up in?
I wonder if we can do this over sending.
I was
Actually, he's
thinking
a
of
devil. Maybe he can teleport. I don't know.
well, I was thinking of sending and saying, hey, we'll be in Haviat in 10 weeks. Meet us there. We need you to write up a contract. Because I think we have an item he might be interested in trade that
what's
he would
that?
be that's Soul Diamond.
Oh yeah.
He would like something like that.
What does these soul diamonds do again?
Not sure.
Hmm.
It's a diamond that might be used in the confiscation of souls.
Hmm.
I think Finn would quite enjoy playing around with that thing. We have no
Actually,
real use for it.
Well, I wonder if it might be useful for our purposes.
I think it needs to be a dead person.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not useful.
Yeah, I'm thinking based on what he was how the wizard was explaining is basically it's like something you'd use for binding a soul from a dead person to it. Kind of like the
Hmm.
ring that I have.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, does that ring have a diamond that looks similar to this one on it or no?
No.
No? Okay. I didn't think so. Figured I'd
Yes.
ask.
So what I'm thinking for this contract is that if and when you die, instead of going on to either afterlife, your soul is just going to be sort of bound to the mortal plane within whatever vicinity of where I am. And then I don't know. So I guess like if a devil tries to pull your soul down to hell, it wouldn't work because of the magical contract and all that.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
specifically a contract written by a devil.
Yeah, well, but more importantly, your soul would not be considered free except by my will. Meaning, if somebody tried to like bring you back, then I would have to okay it, or something like that. I don't know how that works, or how that would work.
I'm sure Finn would be able to explain it.
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. Does no, I didn't write the Tabaxi's name down. What did he call himself?
The Cat in the Hat.
Well, he has a name.
You never asked what his name was.
Ah, well then we'll head back to the shop. And then I'll ask his name.
It is Sukru.
Sukru, do you happen to have a spell scroll of sending handy?
Nope.
Know anybody in town that might?
I mean, we don't even have anybody here who can cast Sending.
We do.
Maybe,
They're not.
maybe the Baron.
Oh.
He just shrugs.
Okay. Appreciate it. Well, we'll meet you tomorrow.
All right, see you.
Yeah, I'm thinking we send a message to Finn. Have Finn meet us in Havia. If Finn perform the ceremony, or I mean, I can perform my own ceremony, right? Because I can prepare and cast it.
Nothing in ceremony says that you can't do it to yourself.
Yeah, this is more along the lines of like, can you legally officiate your own wedding? And I don't see any reason why you can't.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, that's the goal, is to get a way to contact. Missing Mister affects our ability to communicate over long range.
Well, actually, no, we don't necessarily need to have the wedding. We can make this a prenup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the wedding would be just a, court signing document style wedding anyway, with adventurers,
Hmm.
which is just a matter of casting ceremony. Okay, you guys are hitched now.
Hmm.
I mean, party benefits from it from like what, 7 days? Up to X number of people around get a bunch of bonuses.
For a wedding, no, it's just the 2 people.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of the dude on YouTube that talks about all the broken things you can do with D&D, and one of the things is marrying, because there is no issues with polygamy, so you could ceremony everybody in the party together. Ceremony A to B, B to C, C to D, and all that, and then everybody would be benefiting from all of the ceremony shit, and then you just do it all again.
Well, no, they have to die in order for that. But
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Oh, I
You
see.
die.
Yeah.
You revivify them, and you do it all again. It's not cheap, but you could technically abuse ceremony in that manner.
Man.
In all reality, that's
just
not
like
that
a
expensive.
constant like
Yeah.
1,000 gold a week draw on the party's resources just for ceremony and revivifies.
Hey, we're here to renew our vows again. It's like, god damn it. Every week, all these.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's head back to the raccoon. Because I was also going to see if Nurkin had the ability to cast Sending. I was actually going to use that if the owls didn't attack the party. Have her use Sending to contact Lucina. If she has the ability, but we have to wait till she's back in the inn to find out. Anyway, I think we just retire back to the inn for the day. If anybody wants to do anything, Teresa wants to spend money. Ifan wants to spend money. Let me get that sheet up. Okay.
Alright, so you return to the inn. When asked, Nurkin responds negatively, saying that
I'm back.
magic is more of a hobby and a side interest. I'm not really all that skilled with it yet, and Sending is still beyond me.
Oh no, it's all good. We're just short on a messenger tonight. He's sleeping in apparently. Had a relatively urgent message to send out. But I guess it can wait.
Guess you don't really have a choice.
Well, could always break into the Baron's establishment and see if he's got any laying around and steal them. Friedman would say that with like a half-cocked grin.
Well, you are adventurers. That is the type of thing you guys would get up to, I suppose. Let me know if you're going to do that so I can just have your rooms ready for when the guards come. No need to kick in the door and all that.
Naturally.
I'm back. What's going on?
Not much. Seeing if we could get a scroll of sending to contact Finn to write up a contract for Stone Soup and Ice plan.
Feeling bad he's gonna steal the Declaration of Arcane Dependence.
Oh yeah, then we might break into the Baron's house for the fun of it.
See, I know you're full of crap because that would be whimsical, and you never do whimsical.
Well, no, there is actually a reason to break into the Baron. I'm assuming the Baron stays in the keep, so it wouldn't be a house. The heavily guarded, heavily patrolled keep.
Yeah.
So we don't have Mr. CMP. Mr. CMP, is the one we usually use for sending. So I was seeing if
Right.
we could get a sending scroll, and I'd asked the shopkeeper if he knew of anybody in town that might have one, because he didn't have one. And he's like, oh, I mean, the Baron might have one, like in a passing comment.
What's the sending we need to send?
To Finn to have him meet us in Havia.
Why do we need Finn to meet us in Havia?
To write up a devil contract.
For what purpose?
To bind my soul. I know this is why I'm telling it like this.
To give the
bind
Covenant
my
back the bomb.
To bind my soul to stone soup.
Yeah, we're trying to protect him from the devil he pissed off who's coming after his soul.
That's insane.
It's hilarious. And
By
I
the way,
love it.
did you ever tell us why that guy is so mad at you and what you did down there?
Well, I mean, yeah, we went over, but basically Freeman's not too sure, because he was Freeman spent most of his time trying to figure out, because he knew from Nipia that the plane of hell that he needed to access was not the primary plane. He needed to get to one of the demi-planes near it. And that's where Zisa is, has taken up her residence. She's not one of the primary leaderships of hell.
Right.
So she has her own side plane. So Friedman was playing around in the politics down there and apparently talked to the wrong person or wrong persons and caught the attention of an unknown devil.
My
Who,
headcanon is that
what's that?
my headcanon is in this process. You banged some fiend's child. They're pissed at you, and now this is gonna tie into this contract you're now making with Stone Soup in
Yeah.
relation to the other woman.
Why do you think
From
I'm
your
binding his
past.
soul to me?
This is very quickly turning into the plot of a rom-com.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. On Saturday night, we play Days of Our Lives.
I can already see the other NPCs standing in the background of the shot, staring awkwardly at like two people who are stage whispering about how nothing they say should be heard at a volume that everyone in the fucking building could hear.
Oh, yes, we shouldn't be talking about this.
Sorry, making fun of soap operas is a hobby of my brother's and mine.
I watch them for the plot because the plot is so horrible.
Hey, at least
Yeah, right.
It's still better than Jersey Sword Coast.
But anyway, to reiterate, so yeah, when I was down in the hells, basically asking around, trying to, as incognito as possible, which isn't really that easy to do when you're a bare soul in the hells, trying to get information about getting to Zisa's plane, since Friedman wasn't sure if the party would be able to resurrect him. And he figured he'd, continue his quest for trying to rescue Jezzy. I mean, it's a lot easier when you're already in the hells to get to the hells, right? And in the process, he doesn't know quite what he did, but now there's a devil that was on his tail, and when you guys were resurrecting him, you actually pulled him out of a fight he might not have survived otherwise, and that's probably why the thing's so hot on our tail.
Uh-huh.
So this whole side plot that Stone Soup and I are working on is the workaround for this devil that's trying to reclaim my soul. Because at the time that I entered hell, my soul was bound to none. Untimely death. Kind of show up at the door and don't ring the doorbell, but go inside anyway.
I mean, are you sure you haven't violated some terms of service or other such goofy nonsense? Like, by being within a certain domain, you hereby consent through your presence that you are accepting certain terms and conditions, and that those may supersede the terms and conditions of a later contract?
Oh yeah, he didn't read the end of user's life agreement.
Exactly.
I guess that would be a question for Under and how his barony of hell works. When I was down there, did I get that if you enter somebody's domain vibe, or is
No,
it
that's
more
much
you-
more of
you
a
sign
Fey
contract?
type thing,
Okay.
where you enter in and therefore are bound by the rules and laws of the land.
Yep.
That's much more of the Fey. The devils would be more formal about that. You know, there would be
Yeah.
like a contract you would sign, or
Yeah, yeah.
formalization
sign a
of an
contract.
agreement or an accord. Maybe not necessarily physically sign. We say that, but really, there would be like a formal agreement to terms or to an accord. Verbal is fine. Like, you can enter into a contract physically signing nothing, but by agreeing to it, you are bound by it, just as ironclad as
So
they would be.
so you plane shift into hell and you get paused at the edge of its plane with a fucking pop-up scroll that's like, all right, you are now entering hell. Do you consent that you are yada yada? Have you read the terms of service and the privacy policy?
Well, no. How hell works would be more like you would find yourself in an infinite desert of a certain devil's creation. And unless you have some means of leaving an infinite plane of desert, you have to deal with the devil to get out. And he might charge you something to leave.
X years of certitude with your soul.
Or something.
Yeah,
in
what you
return,
choose.
he will pluck you out of the infinite desert and put you somewhere else. That type of thing. That's how they work, is, you might wander into some place and you are, not bound by any agreement you didn't actually agree to, simply by being there, but they may arrange such things that agreement is the only way to get out.
So basically, how you told me, Freeman kind of slipped between the cracks and started playing diplomat.
Well, what
And,
I said is you were in the hells and you drew the attention of a devil, and they tried to trap you. You escaped, both inside the hell and then getting out of the hells via resurrection. And therefore, they want to get you back where they basically they're trying to capture you so that they can put you in a position where you have to agree to their terms.
Yeah. So Freeman's not bound by a contract yet.
Correct.
The devil that was trying to bind him to a contract to avoid whatever Freeman stumbled upon that he doesn't realize that he stumbled upon.
Yeah, you have no idea why or even who is after you. But they are for sure trying to, take you.
Okay, so I would like to then point something out here. You are immortal. Trying to have a fiend act as I guess we could say, the lawyer who helps handle the legal documents with another mortal. So, depending on exactly how you have that set up, you have just shifted the target from yourself directly to Stone Soup. Because depending on how you word that, now they don't need to coerce you, they need to coerce Stone Soup.
That's not exactly what we're doing. We're doing a servitude. So if they're intent on getting Freeman's soul, they would need to go through Stone Soup. Yes. However, the contract that we're looking at writing up won't be a ownership.
Uh-huh. So how is this going to protect you?
Well, I mean, it's more to buy time than anything. Because
your solution is to throw basically legal documents at your pursuing
yes.
fiend.
And then the devil that's pursuing me will have to open dialogue with us, and then we can go into phase 2,
Bog him
which
down
is
in litigation.
yes, bog him down in litigation so that he will eventually have, okay, this is bullshit. Why am I wasting all of these, these resources trying to capture this one soul? And then open dialogue to try figure out, one, what the hell I stumbled upon. And then once discovering that, and then work it into our favor, because devils like power. Zisa is powerful. So, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So we get the devil that's after Freeman on our side against Zisa.
So, this is just me trying to get a better wrangle on what you're planning, but how are you hoping this contract is going to slow anything down?
Yeah, I gotta say, the amount of time it's gonna take to set this up might make it not worth it, at least for the purpose that
Yeah.
we're.
Yeah, the slowing down is more so going to be like just the journey on the ship is going to be a long enough time that I think we'll eventually be able to open up dialogue with the devil, so the Stone Soup Freeman contract won't matter at that point.
Yeah.
And we'll
By
have
the time that we
wasted
get to a
fiend's time.
Yeah, well, unless
As
we
in
can find a
Finn's.
local fiend.
Well, I didn't realize we would have to get a fiend involved in order to make this stick
Yeah.
when I came up with the idea in the first place.
Yeah, I didn't either until we were discussing it, and then we thought about it, and it's like, oh yeah, devils will only respect devil contracts. So.
Yeah, when I had the idea originally, I was picturing more like a Las Vegas marriage, and then all of a sudden it's like his soul doesn't belong to him anymore, hands off situation.
Well, no, what Lucina said was true. Like, it wouldn't even be a hands off; it would just be an extra step.
I guess, although
It
I
would be
guess
bogging them down in legal documents. That's the idea.
If the effect
Make
of
it
what
so
you did
annoying.
with that was to basically go, yeah, Freeman isn't allowed to create legally binding deals with his own soul. In that case, they'd have to go through the person who had that legal authority. The
idea is buying
like the
bogging
arbiter
them
of
down,
it, which would be Stone Soup, which really just means that now they have to nab Soup.
Yeah,
It
boils down to bogging them down. Which
if we're gonna have to go through a devil to do all kinds of legal bullshit, there's like more interesting stuff we can do than that. Like we could establish Freeman as his own domain of hell that's beyond the devil's jurisdiction.
What?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't.
King of Hell?
Yeah, well, I don't know a ton about how like the politics of hell work in this universe, but I assume if it's like divided into multiple baronies, which I think is how it works.
Yeah, I picture Crusader Kings 2 maps for some reason.
Yeah, so we just make Freeman and like some part of the mortal plane, which is actually being occupied by him, into a baron of hell.
No, because it's not on the plane of hell.
Well, then we need to buy you.
I would have to take over Dominion of a barony in hell. I wouldn't be able to just like, oh yeah, the mortal plane is Freeman's hell.
Or you could buy into one of those fiendish, like buy a square foot by square foot plot of land in Avernus. get the right to call yourself a lord. In this case, a baron.
It's actually super easy to do. I own a plot of land in Scotland because of a bottle of Laphroaig that I purchased once.
You just accidentally became a duke?
No, it's not accidentally. The bottle comes with it for no extra cost.
I was just buying some alcohol. Now I'm a fucking duke in Scotland.
Yeah, well, I think you only get like a square foot, but still.
But anyway, yeah, so that idea is sounding like it's not going to pan out the greatest, so we're just going to have to burn through his mooks until he gets annoyed.
Yeah, well, I wanted to pull some kind of infernal Sovsit type deal.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I think we burn out the rest of the day. Ipfon, you need plate, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, we might have other options.
Oh.
Like, if you're trying to open up a dialogue, you could always just summon a fiend.
Yeah, but we don't know which fiend.
Right,
we have no idea who is hunting for me. You're saying just summon a random fiend and say, hey, who's hunting this guy? I'm saying
summon a fiend. Use that fiend as the intermediary to open up dialogue with this other fiend.
Well, actually, this gets back to another idea that I kind of half had while we were talking about that soul diamond. Which is if we could in some way set that up to, like, ensnare your soul on the event of your death, and then one of us has it.
It does.
Well,
His ring does ensnare his
no,
soul.
no, not my ring. You weren't here for the necklace. The necklace is a similar item. Remember that platinum
what?
necklace with the weird diamond?
Yeah.
It's a similar item, but we don't know exactly what it does. But it does deal with souls.
Okay.
So I do have the ring of mind shielding does suck my soul into it if it's empty. However, it's currently occupied by I think
Oh
Jim
yeah,
or
yeah,
James.
that's right. The guy doesn't.
Yeah, I haven't checked in on him in a while.
Yeah, well, it would be important to know how the necklace works, because otherwise you could end up with your soul like permanently trapped inside of the diamond.
Yeah, that's another reason that I wouldn't mind bringing that item to Finn.
Yeah.
Finn would be very knowledgeable about that particular item from the sounds of the description.
Yes. Let's furnish a fiend with more abilities to violate the souls of people. Yeah.
I'd honestly rather have him have it than like a mortal who's going to want it.
Gilbert, the devil you know.
The devil we know is still a devil.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
but
the
it's better
devil
than
we
the
know.
devil we
Extra
don't.
planar.
But yeah, at the end of the day, Finn, based on all of our interactions with Finn, all of your insight checks with Finn, he literally just wants to retire to fucking Lushing. He doesn't want to deal with hell. Like, even when
That's
I
a
asked him
good
directly about that
point.
other devil, the who is a lieutenant of Zisa, he wanted nothing to do with it. He wants nothing to do with hell. He is retired. He has sliced himself on a little heaven of running the crime underworld of Lushingworth, and he wants to stay there. He has everything he wants. That's why I have no problem making dealings with Finn, because a bad guy. Yes, I know he's still a bad guy, but the devil you know.
Okay, fine. I. You know what? Fine. I'll take off my tinfoil hat.
Man, your hair is disgusting. How long have you been wearing that thing?
It has been on every Septimus's head from the moment they are born. It forms in the womb.
But yeah, if we were bored, because we do still have 2 days to kill, we could see if we could break into the fort. A dry run for assassinating the Emperor.
Oh no, we don't want to do that. That would attract way too much suspicion.
So we did a dry run, found it was way easier than we were expecting, and assassinated the Emperor.
Although I would like to actually I'd like to spend the rest of the day continuing my rounds with my disguise kit. Seeing if I can pick up and search for any of Mustafa's mooks. Try to make contact with them.
All right. Yeah. Well, you put on your disguise kit. Go ahead and make your stealth check.
It's stealth?
Sorry, performance.
Performance? I thought it was in disguise kit.
God damn it! Sorry, I was looking at some other stuff. Yes.
All of our talking has under like furiously typing up notes of all the bullshit we're doing. Burning a hole in his keyboard.
Another one.
Underdark types up how he's going to adjudicate this. Then we change our plans. Like, God damn it!
All right. Well, I am very well disguised.
Indeed.
Yep. So I don my purple and head out.
Yes.
Seeing the intruder in our room, I cast Chain Lightning.
Well, go ahead and make your attack roll.
It's a
It-
save.
What's the
Hold
save?
on. And
Dex.
you're doing this on the same day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we get back from shopping, I'll switch over to my disguise, and I'll do the same as I'm leaving the head tilted down, kind of walking fast.
Sure. Yeah, so you start blending in with the crowd, and you start looking around, trying to see if you can spot any of Mustafa's agents. Go ahead and make a insight check.
Is this something that I could guide?
Not really, no.
Okay. I need to remember to roll guidance for disguise kit too. I keep forgetting about that.
So, yeah, you're looking around. You can see that, in some of the more like coffee houses and things like that, yeah, there are groups of people talking, and there are some shady-looking people kind of paying a little more attention than other people to what's going on around them, kind of marking them as these spies, if you will.
Yep. Yeah, I'll look for like a decent group of them, like a group of 2 or 3 that are obviously together.
Of the spies?
Yeah.
There are none. They work.
They're
they
all
work
individuals?
individuals. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess and then a more congregated area of them. So once I've kind of figured out which ones are wearing the earplug, the ear wires. Once I've figured out what the earpiece looks like, I'll start looking for a more dense congregation of them. Or are they cycling in and out pretty thoroughly?
There's no congregation of them. They are working independently of each other.
No. I meant like say there's 10 coffee shops in a square block.
Uh-huh.
3 coffee shops that are all right next to each other each have a spy in them. That's what I mean by congregate.
Okay.
So like more dense population of them.
The coffee shops aren't that dense. There's, one on a corner here, one on a corner over there, that type of thing. They're not. There's no grouping of coffee shops like all together.
Well, I guess that's a poor example.
They're
I'm looking for like an area of the city that there's a heavier presence of the spies.
okay. There are not that many spies. The density is irrelevant. What are you trying to actually do?
Make it easier to follow them when they get up and leave.
Okay.
Having 2 or 3 of them closer together is what I was trying to.
Yeah, that's not how they work. That is not at all
Okay.
near the density
Yeah.
that they have here.
Yep, okay. Yep. Well, then I guess I'll just pick one.
It's taking the approach to this that you would take to like bird watching. Yeah, so there's no part of this city that's like those benches in Washington D.C. where you
Right,
can just
yeah.
go any time of day.
There is no convenient like park bench, midway between the Pentagon and Capitol Hill, where all of the foreign diplomats and the spies all get together and meet all the time.
You're talking about that one with the big oak tree behind it? That's in like every fucking movie.
I absolutely love that. This is the spy bench. Please wait your turn in line.
Right. No
There's
pictures.
A line full of dudes in trench coats and black suits, just like waiting.
all of them have a newspaper. Every
Like,
single
hey.
one of them has a newspaper.
Hey, can you two hurry up? We have business to conduct here.
Okay, well then yeah, I will just pick one nearer to the fort.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to pick one near to the fort. He looks to be watching a what appears to be a elvish couple. And you notice that these elvish couples kind of present themselves as like traveling performers, bards, if you will.
Oh, okay.
And with your passive perception, you can see that they often have a little bit of extra stuff in their pamphlet, not just the performance stuff.
Ah, I see. well, I will, take up a post, out of his line of sight. You know,
Okay.
in the coffee shop if necessary. Otherwise, I'd like to not be that close.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, you would actually have to go into the coffee shop to be able to keep an eye on them.
Okay. Well, then I guess I'll go into the coffee shop and get some coffee and a
Mhm.
bagel.
Yeah, they don't have bagels, but they do have pastries. Like Danish type things.
Ooh,
I do love a good
the
pasty.
ones with the custard filling.
I'm assuming they'd be more of a tart.
Yeah, they're more like fruit jellied, like jellied fruits type things, not so much custard.
Mm.
Apricot seems to be a local favorite. But yeah, the bards kind of move through, kind of like acting like you would normally expect performers to act, trying to get people to come and see their play and all that type of stuff. Some of the pamphlets seem to have a little bit of extra in their playbill, but some don't. The spy just kind of sits there. He's reading what appears to be like a kind of like a not the bard's pamphlet, but like a news pamphlet.
Okay.
And then as the bards are look to just be kind of making the rounds around everyone in the coffee shops, dropping off pamphlets, basic advertising type stuff.
Mm.
Are you trying to avoid them coming to you?
No, that would be too suspicious.
Okay.
If they make their way to me, yeah, I'm just, a random diplomat having my coffee.
Right. Yep. You're having a coffee with the trench coat and all that.
No, he's wearing his aristocratic clothes.
And the bard's going like, "Oh, you should come to our playhouse. It's a very good play. It's all wholesome, great for the whole family." And they just leave you with a pamphlet that looks to be advertising, like a play this evening. They did not leave you the extra sheet.
Figured. But yeah, when Freeman responds, obviously it'd be rude not to speak back. He'll use a aristocratic Herkoresh accent.
Okay.
We spent time in Herkoresh, so Freeman will be able to pick up the accent. It only takes a fucking minute. We were in the city with the Blue Wizard.
Heracrest, right?
Hercrest, yeah, sorry. Hercrest.
I kept hearing Urkaresh, and I'm like,
Oh.
wait, what?
Well, yeah, Freeman spent some time on a different world.
I haven't heard anybody
I fall
talk like that in a
asleep and
long
wake
time.
up on Monday.
But that accent. Sorry.
Yeah, you speak with like a upper class Heracrestian accent. And as I said, they leave you the playbill, or the pamphlet, but not like any like extra sheet inside.
All right.
With
Well, I
your
won't
perception,
pay
you can tell that from your past perception, you can tell that the spy doesn't really pay any attention to that. He seems focused on the bards.
Mm-hmm. And probably, an extra glance at the people that received the extra pamphlet. But regardless, yep, I'll just sit here behind him. Minding my P's and Q's. I'll read through the playbill as you would if somebody gave it to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was there accent Erevrian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, these appear to be locals. And as they kind of finish, going through the place, they start heading towards the door. And you notice that the spy kind of finishes off his coffee, puts some coins on the counter, and stands up and starts walking at a discreet distance from them towards the door. The bards leave, start walking west.
Yep, and I'll wait an adequate time, but not. I mean, obviously the bards aren't trying to be incognito, so they'll be easier to pick tail on.
Mhm.
But yeah, I obviously won't be right on his heels.
Yeah, the spy walks out of the door and kind of reaches into his cloak, pulls out a pipe, begins lighting it. Looks like he's just standing out there smoking.
Yep. Well, you see his maybe a shadow or something that I can see. Not directly.
I mean, he's just standing out next to the door. He's very obvious where he's not hiding. He's out in plain sight. From
I wasn't saying
inside,
hiding. I was saying if Freeman didn't have line of sight.
you do have line of sight. I'm from inside, you can actually see him.
Okay. And then yeah, no, I'll just wait because, like I said, I could care less about the bards. I'm more interested in seeing him make contact with him and figuring out which side of Mustafar's men he's on.
Yeah, he finishes smoking his pipe after a few minutes and starts just kind of taps it out and then starts walking east.
All right. Well, Freeman will finish up his pastry, leave a few silver on the counter or on his table for his drink, and then start heading east as well.
All right, yeah, you start following him. At this
what
point,
race is the spy?
say again?
What race is the spy?
He appears to be a human.
Okay.
And I assume you're trying to not be noticed as you're following him?
Yep.
All right, so at this point, I will need you to make a stealth check as you kind of blend in with the crowds and all that, trying to avoid notice.
Can he beat a 26?
Please make a stealth check.
I know. Can he beat a 34?
He keeps walking, walking, and you notice as you're walking that he's making a pretty direct route towards the Baron's Keep.
Yep. And I also note that I'm staying at least 30 feet outside of his range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you say 30 feet behind him.
Well, more than 30 feet. So that if
Then
he
how far
has
are you?
35. Anything outside of the range of detect magic.
Okay.
Or anything that basically what happened with the other one I'm trying to avoid. The courier, how the courier noticed me and must have had some magical means of detection. So if the range needs to be 60, then I'll be 60. Like that. Like whatever spells Freeman would off the top of his head know that could pick up on the fact that he has a magical ring shielding his mind.
Uh-huh. Okay, sure. You follow at 35 feet. Yeah, and he eventually approaches what looks to be like a side entrance to the inner wall around the keep, and he just walks right in.
All right. Are there any guards around this?
Yeah, there are a couple of posted guards. They did not react at all to him walking through the gate. The gate is open, but just guards are out posted in front of it.
Okay. Yep. Freeman will just merge back into the crowd after seeing him go inside, and then head back to the raccoon.
You head back to the raccoon. You have no
I
problem
was
doing
hoping
so.
to get him alone. But the opportunity didn't present itself, so no sense rushing things. Yep, and then Freeman will, hurried walk through the foyer, head tucked down, run upstairs, take your makeup off, and join the party for dinner.
Okay. Yeah, and then you guys are taking a rest.
I think so.
Probably wise to set a watch.
Definitely.
Well, what's your watch order then?
Fun Stone Soup, what are you guys' passives?
Mine is not good.
Worse than stone soups.
Mine is 13.
Minus 12.
Jeez, you guys have negative passives?
No, 0 passive gives you a 10.
No, I have a +3 to my perception.
No, you both said mine is, so it sounded like minus.
Yeah, if you put me on watch, I'm gonna start noticing things that aren't there.
Oh, yeah, I meant to put Stone Soup, not at fun. My bad. All right. So in descending order, we have 26, 21, 17, and 13 for our passives.
All right.
I
So,
didn't even mean to do that.
so you guys go to sleep. During third watch.
Oh?
Well,
During my watch?
during your watch, but unfortunately it's Freeman's dream.
God damn it.
Freeman, you find yourself standing in a kind of a cool white void. And a figure is in front of you. And she looks like this. And speaking with a sort of like almost an ethereal lilt to her voice, she says, I know you, though you do not know me. I am the champion of revenge. And I know what hunts you. If you would like this information, and perhaps some assistance, I need something from you in return.
You don't take a check, do you?
Oh, we do not deal with money here.
I figured.
No, you see, as you've probably guessed, I am not of the material realm. And a person in need of a visit of retribution has taken steps to shield themselves from me. You are familiar with the fiendish wizard Sukra?
The
They're,
name rings a bell.
they're not the simple shop proprietor and potential ally that they would have you think. Indeed, the visage they give you of a harmless, defenseless tabaxi is but an illusion. You see, did they offer you many substantial magical items?
No, not really.
Scrolls, potions, at a rate that would be impossible for someone, a normal person like him, to be able to provide?
Real quick knowledge check. How long does it take to write a first level spell scroll?
1 day.
Ah, okay. I did not pick up on that. Well, now that you mention it, It was quite odd being able to get as many spell scrolls as they offered
Indeed.
in such a short notice.
They stole an infernal printing press from one of the archdevils of hell. And they
Well-
use it to create magic scrolls at a much faster rate than would be normal. Of course, that does not in and of itself bear my retribution. No. What bears my retribution is the fuel, the ink, the very essence of these scrolls is formed from the souls of children. And they call out for my retribution. Sukra knows this, and knew what would happen should he use that. And so he took steps to prevent me from being able to fulfill that role. If you take him out, you need not kill him, merely remove him from the premises, and I will step in after that. If you agree to do that, then I will give you the information you seek of who is hunting you and why.
Oh, when you put it that way, get the guy outside, free information.
Kill him if you feel free. That would also serve. But if you feel that you can't kill someone based solely on my say, then simply have him leave his premises. He has not done so for many years. And
What
I
in
will
particular
deal.
about his premises keeps you out?
It is warded against outsiders.
If the warning were to break, it would make it a little easier for you to get in, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. However, and this is not meant to be a slight against you, I think you will find it far easier to attack the wizard himself rather than his wards. They are soaked in the blood of innocence, and thus are quite powerful.
Well, if one of the walls of the building was removed, would the ward be holding intact still?
Yes.
Hmm.
The ward wards a concept of a place. The physical walls themselves hold no real strength to them in terms of the ward's power. But if you remove him from what he conceives of as his home, his place, his domain, then I can intervene.
All right.
Also, while I cannot speak for the local constabulary, should any items of his fall into your possession, during or after, that is your business. I am only concerned about seeing revenge done to him.
Well, my best friend grew up in an orphanage, so this is an idea I can get behind.
Then we have an accord, and I wish you good hunting. As she just fades into the background. And then you wake up. And it's morning, and you have all had a successful long rest. Those of you on watch noticed nothing unusual during the watch.
Ooh.
I feel very blue.
Just real quick, yeah, she called herself Champion of Revenge.
Champion of Revenge, yes.
Okay.
I feel so very blue balled. Something's happened to that third one. Oh no, it's a dream. God damn it.
As soon as I heard it was a
You
dream, I
really
just got up
should've.
and went to do something else, and I just sat back
You
down.
really,
The
You really
screen-
should have asked.
The-
You should have asked Lucina what her passive was.
The screen goes white. The private dialogue checkbox is checked.
That would have been so funny. Hey, Lucina, what's your passive?
I get real excited there.
It's
Well,
like tossing and
Freeman's
turning
having
in
a
his
dream.
sleep.
Do you notice?
Do you
In the
take
other room.
Do you take a check?
Yeah. Stone Soup wakes up to Freeman having this dialogue. You take checks? What the fuck?
I mean, the only odd thing physically that Freeman would notice is a single black feather on top of the bed, like when he wakes up, like on top of the covers that you were sleeping under.
Oh, God damn it, not the owls again.
Well, you would
Oh.
recognize the feather as being from her wings.
This is no owl feather. Freeman will pick the feather up. Is it magical?
Yes, it you can feel almost like a connection with it. Like it almost as if picking it up, you have almost like an immediate attunement to it.
Yeah, I'll tuck that in one of my inside pockets.
Is it possessed of powerful evil magics?
I'll cast it
Could I
on
have
it
pinged
actually.
oh, okay.
You were asleep. You could ping Divine
Is this not during
Sense.
the morning?
You
Is this
can
not
ping
during the
Divine
morning?
Sense. No, you can ping Divine Sense in the shop. You have no idea that this feather exists. You have no idea that Freeman had a dream. You are in a different room.
Shop? What shop?
It doesn't matter. Just go back to what you were doing.
Yeah, Freeman will actually cast an Identify on it, just out of curiosity.
The only thing you get out of it is that it is named the Totem of Poena. And it is a kind of a totem of your agreement with the Champion of Revenge.
Ah, okay. So it's a pseudo contract of sorts.
Fishy suspicious. Much sus.
I had too many N's. Otherwise, I spelled it right. I doubled up the N's on Poena. Anyway, yeah, Friedman will go down to the party and, well, we'll wake up, go to our common room, have breakfast inside there. Probably be easier than downstairs.
Hmm.
And then Friedman will ask the party. So, anybody else think it's weird that we ordered 10 scrolls from that guy of first level and he's going to have them for us today?
Yeah.
I assume he has sources. He's not making them himself.
Probably a sweatshop of a Prentai.
Well, and Freeman will pull out the 5, scrolls of shielding. It's like, you think all the Apprenti write the exact same?
No, it was sarcasm. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it's shifty.
Well, I had the most peculiar dream.
If it was about you
Ifan.
and Soup, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, that wasn't a dream. You actually heard that.
Don't worry, he doesn't need to dream about me.
I'm half tempted to thunder step out of the room.
Anyway,
Don't tell us to get a room. We have one upstairs.
we're next to it actually. we have Stone Soup and Freeman have a double
Focus.
bed, and then the party has like a double suite with a common room.
Focus.
But we have our own bedroom. Wink, wink. But anyway, Ifan, are you familiar at all with the Champion of Revenge?
Would I be familiar with that?
You're a paladin, that's why I'm asking you.
And I'm asking the DM.
You could make either an Arcana or a Religion check.
Let me see which one I'm better at.
Ooh, Arcana religion checks?
Mm.
They're
Actually, yeah,
both
Lucina,
eights,
you could-
so I'm equally as bad.
I'd say, yeah, Lucina, you could also, answer that question. You guys familiar with the Champion of Revenge? I was asking if Fonda kind of inclusive him, because he's the Paladin, so it makes sense the Paladin would know about, the Champion of Revenge.
I mean, I'm happy to take a shot too.
Sure. So, Ibfon,
I'll also take
unfortunately...
a shot.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a 21.
So, Ibfon... Oh, that's 21. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got that stupid bullshit. All right.
Yep, I have that stupid bullshit.
So, Ibfon, the only thing you know of is that champions are not deities, but they are not... They are outsiders, essentially. Powerful outsiders that typically hold, like, delegated dominion over something very specific, usually like a task or a facet of something. So that they're like, and there are many of these. There are lots and lots of champions. They're much, much weaker individually than any god, but they are fairly powerful outsiders. And it's one of the ways that the gods get around the Celestial Compact. By using powerful outsiders instead of intervening directly, they can do more stuff to the material plane. You're unfortunately not
Your hand, Queen.
familiar with any specifics about the Champion of Revenge or what god or goddess she may serve.
Oh, so these are like intercessionary deities in ancient Roman religion?
No, this would be more akin to like a Christian saint. Pre-Vatican II, like you might pray to have a saint intercede on your behalf, that type of thing.
Mm.
Or a
Okay.
biblical angel.
Okay, similar
Not a god.
structure,
Yes.
later variety. Got
Yeah,
it.
or like a biblical angel or something like that.
An apostle of hell. Well, but actually, I don't know.
no.
Well, this one isn't.
This
a demon.
one's a revenge. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
a good deity.
Revenge is not typically associated with goodness.
I disagree. In a D&D setting, revenge is a good thing.
No, there's not an argument that exists for that. It is never in any system that I have ever observed morally good.
Lame.
So, Lucina and Freeman, what did you roll, Arcana or Religion?
Mine's the same either way. I'd be going with religion though.
Okay.
If revenge
Freeman?
is bad, what? No.
Let's say,
Was that Arcana or
mine are
Religion?
the same. I was gonna roll Arcana because I figured they'd both be rolling religion.
Okay. So, from a religious aspect, you know that Ziara is the evil goddess of vengeance, represented generally by a pictogram of a black flail. And while you have no specific knowledge, Lucina, of any champion of Ziara that covers revenge, that's kind of the deity you would expect to be involved in that type of thing.
Sounds like her wheelhouse.
Yeah. This matches the modus operandi.
So, now as for Freeman, you would also know from your arcane studies that yes, champions do indeed tend to revolve around the deities, but they are not the only source of champions. And you would think it unlikely that an evil goddess would have a champion of such a broad remit as revenge when they themselves are a goddess of vengeance.
Yeah.
So either from that, your arcane knowledge would tell you that either she is not a champion of revenge, and this is some other being contacting you and that lied to you, or they are not associated with the deity Ziara. Unfortunately, you would not know any other deity that would match this, nor do you know of any being that would create such a champion.
Okay. Then I'd like to tap into my historical studies and see if the name Poena rings a bell for fiendish side
Sure.
of things.
Make a history check then.
Yep. And this is the broken one. That's 26.
Yeah, your studies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
You
20.
have found an occasional mention, almost like a footnote, of an archdevil that is so consumed by their drive for vengeance that they frequently forget to even participate in devil politics. And that they kind of have control over this fiefdom merely because she's really annoying to deal with. And Poena, is the Duke of Retribution, is the official title of that being. And they basically hold that by simply being so persistently annoying to deal with if you cross them that the devils just leave them alone.
So she is quite literally the suits of the lawyers down there.
Less suits of the lawyer, more stalker obsessive ex-girlfriend.
Ah, with a law degree.
It's not stalking.
So basically what you're saying is it feels like the devil I don't know is possibly upset this devil that I do know. And this devil now that I do know is well, let's see, hang on now.
Wait, who's
What
the devil you
benefit would-
do and the devil you don't in this scenario?
The devil I do is the angel of revenge. Or the
That is not an
champion
angel.
champion of revenge. Sorry. I had it stuck in my head the biblical angel because they're typically also given a name like that. Like all of the angels in the Bible have distinct titles. Like Michael the soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like that's why I said angel right there, just to clarify. But anyway, yeah, so this being that contacted me in my sleep sounds like they're a Duke of Hell. We're making friends all over the place, boys.
Well, they gave you a totem of a Duke of Hell.
Oh, so either they are directly that person they were lying about who they were, or they work for them. One of the two.
A archdevil, a Duke of Hell, is a being powerful enough to have champions. Maybe not as many as gods would have, but they could have them.
Well, either way, Friedman will point out the obviously duplicated scrolls and let them in on the fact that Sucro isn't that great of a guy. Informing them of the infernal printing press and the use of children's souls. That'll rope Infant and Lucina in nicely. And it's pretty easy. We either kill the guy or get him outside.
What part of that made you think it was going to get me in easy?
Well, it ain't getting into hell this time.
This is tinfoil hat Gilbert we're talking about.
Yeah, but the Arcana check Freeman didn't share with you guys.
Uh-huh. That
So you
does
guys
nothing to change my suspicions, though.
But the information that Freeman is sharing is the infernal printing press, and Sucro is not on the up and up, and got a source of information that might help our party as a whole if we can get the guy outside or kill him.
Uh-huh.
So do we want to take on a possibly high-level wizard or trick him into going outside? That's what I'm asking. Do we want to kill him?
I'm still more
or...
suspicious about the alleged fiendish printing press and children souls.
Well, I mean, that's pretty easy. We have If and Papa Divine Sense. That'll answer that question real quick. How big was the shop under?
I have one.
It was a converted townhouse. It was about 10 feet wide and 25 feet deep.
With
Sorry,
living above
no, 15. Yeah, like you would, the type you would live above. 15 feet wide,
So-
25 feet deep.
So if Fun stood in a near central point, he would be able to capture both the upstairs to downstairs and the entire first floor with a Divine Sense ping.
Probably.
I have 6 of them. It's not that bad. I can just walk around.
Well, you should only need to pop one. I'm saying you should be able to get all of it in your radar in one go, unless there's shielding, which you would. Actually, I can pop a detect magic before we go in there, because then I can see any shielding.
I would need to point something out to you guys. That shielding is total cover. Like, if there is total cover, it's shielded. So if you take Divine Sense and you walk into a room, what you're doing is more akin to a sonar ping.
Yeah,
Echolocation.
I forgot that Divine Sense doesn't see through walls. That's my bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell, not even a wall. If it's put in a desk, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Well, behind total cover. I forgot that it is basically line of sight from the user's head. Well, in that case, then I could pop a detect magic and. Well, is there? Again, this is going back to not having the best meta knowledge of the game. Is there a detect spell that is a continuous running similar to Divine Sense? That
So,
would have
like-
better penetration?
I mean, detect magic would tell you if there's anything magical going on.
Detect evil and
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, detect evil and good. Does that penetrate wall?
Detect evil and good operates very similarly to Divine Sense and Detect Magic.
Well, detect magic can see through walls, though, as long as they're not thick enough.
Correct. Detect Magic, though, is defeated by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Detect evil and good is thwarted by the same measures.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, if I pop detect evil and good, walk around, I'll pop a detect magic, walk around, and we should be able to see most everything. And I mean, if the guy's smart enough, he would have it warded, so we wouldn't be able to see it anyway. But then the question would we see the warding? Would that would be a black blank wall? Or would it just be like, well, there's nothing here?
I mean, think about what you're asking there. The spell is going to detect stuff in that radius. If there's nothing there for it to detect, it's not going to give you any results.
Yeah, but I'm asking, like, would it be would you see a black spot where, say, there's a sheet of lead?
That's not how it works.
Yeah, it doesn't give you.
It's a
pos.
It returns only positive contacts. It does not. If you run that in a space and there's nothing that meets that criteria, it would be the same as running it in a space where everything is shielded.
Okay.
There's no way the spell doesn't differentiate non-presence with non-detection.
Okay. Yep, that's what I was trying to clarify, because I, again, not 100% familiar with the mechanics. So yeah, so if he has a chest with shielding, it just wouldn't be visible.
Correct. A chest with shielding on it is going to register as if the chest also didn't have shielding. There's no difference in the ping.
Yeah. Yeah, it would just be like the chest isn't there, even though it is there. It would just be a normal chest with no magic items in it.
And to that end, as far as suspiciousness goes, that is that is like the easiest, most surface level ploy one could make against, especially a paladin. Oh, the children's souls.
Well, I think we should go shopping. And then the question lies: do we want to try getting him outside, or do we want to just kill him?
Outside.
Yeah, I want to see what this fiend can do as well.
No, I mean outside because it's likely easier.
Well, once we get him outside, we don't have to fight him.
Exactly, it's easier. But this whole thing reeks.
I showered, okay?
I didn't say you.
Sewer is not hard to wash, or not easy to wash off. All right. Well, we have some scrolls to pick up.
And just because I gotta say this, but as suspicious as this guy's magic shit is, it is just as suspicious to me that there is suddenly now interested, party.
Not really. If they were watching the shop and they seen us go in and come out and like, oh, a party of adventurers, they might actually be able to do something about this.
And
No, not really.
immediately has the knowledge that we seek.
Yeah, if they're of the hells, makes sense they would have the knowledge that we seek.
Contacting the easily the shiftiest member of the party, and then using the easiest bait that could be used to try to get the not shifty members of the party on board.
Okay, we'll just wait for the boat and leave then.
I'm just saying, this is suspicious, and I think there's more to it.
Well, yeah, Underdark's the DM. We'll find out what the more to it is once we start doing stuff. If we sit around and talk, we'll never get anything done.
When you guys talk, I just like goof off and like do something else for a minute and then come back.
Mm.
I'm not joking, by the way. I genuinely do that.
All right.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. Your input is,
Valid.
100% allowed and valid. Like, you don't have to.
I rarely input because I don't have a lot to say.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but even a sentence can change an entire conversation.
Yep. Simple insight.
Yeah. Trust your gut. The more brains we have working together, the more possible the solution becomes valid.
Mm-hmm.
Where if it's just a debate between Gilbert and I...
It's a debate between pragmatism and suspicion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hence
here's
why
my
nothing
Between yeah, what
happens.
if, and yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how you and I debate. One of us is like, yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it. The other one's like, but what if?
It's a very unproductive. Yeah, let's proceed.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, we can be on the opposite sides of those conversations.
So the
Because
plan
I
is to
will be
proceed
sometimes, what if?
in cooperating with this extraplanar being.
Well, this definitely not a deity authorized being.
Like pseudo deity.
Fiends aren't deities.
There's
And it
powerful
doesn't
in them.
match up with the actual goddess of vengeance.
Yeah,
mean,
a champion of revenge alone doesn't actually make sense for a god of revenge.
Yeah.
Now, a bunch of children's souls wanting
That's worth looking
some
into.
vengeance,
Vengeance.
that I could see.
But the other thing is if it's an infernal printing press.
Exactly. The revenge is of the fiend, and they're using the children as a motive, as a what's the word?
No,
Riding
more
crop.
so where do the souls that it uses go, or would they go if it wasn't using them?
Actually, you know what? That's a good question. Underdark, what happens to a soul? Like,
What do you mean?
is it a finite unit of matter? I don't mean matter in like a you can measure it kind of way. I mean like, can it stop being?
Yeah.
Or is it simply rendered
Yes,
down
there
to
are
more fundamental
there are
elements?
means to destroy souls. Depending on who you ask and what you believe, the general accepted part of how souls work in the Pantheon is that when you die, your soul moves on to an afterlife commensurate with the life you lived. So if you were a good person, you would find yourself in high water as some type of celestial spirit. If you were not, you might find yourself in hell as a lowly, bottom-feeding lemure.
Good, we don't have any Calvinists in this setting.
As depending on what type of life you led, if you manage to attract the attention of powerful beings on either side, that can influence where you end up or what you end up. Particularly pious and powerful paladins and clerics may find themselves as more empowered celestial beings. Likewise, certain full depraved monsters who end up dying may find themselves reincarnated as a devil or a demon, depending, especially if they were doing so in a way that would empower that devil or demon, or as part of a contract.
Okay. What well, according to the stuff, would occur to a soul that's being used inside of a printing press?
Depends.
Use of souls as a form of
So there's a good chance that that means the soul is essentially being fundamentally unmade.
Consumed in the process.
Yes, which would be rather horrific. It basically is condemning those children to non-being rather than an afterlife. It also prevents resurrection by anything less than a wish or divine intervention.
Is there a distinction between souls beyond that sense then? Like a difference between an adult and a child soul?
Eh, not as such.
I'd say child souls are more powerful, but
Child souls, because they're children, tend to be somewhat more on the innocent side of things. Children are unlikely to have committed acts of true evil. They might have committed an evil act incidentally, simply through childish ignorance, but usually without any real moral sense of what they are doing.
So this thing uses souls of pre-K.
Basically. We're talking children, so we're talking like 12 years and younger.
Well, you develop a moral sense around the age of 8.
Okay. Generally, it is considered an especially evil act to tamper with or destroy the souls of innocents or even of neutral or good people. Generally, the only time destroying a soul would be a good act would be if the soul is of a particularly evil nature. And that's basically just trying to deny hell the soul, rather than destroying the soul being a good act so much as really the good act is, hurting hell. Destroying the soul is just incidental. It's also worth noting that outside of specific people being resurrected, like you resurrected Freeman, souls, this isn't like a reincarnation cycle type deal. Souls may fade into high water or hell over time, especially as they don't interact with things that kind of form the background of the flow, which eventually gives rise to new souls. But none of that matters for this.
Are you sure? Is a soul that's consumed in this manner that it's destroyed denying that cycle?
Not entirely.
It's
Well,
just the
it's an
shitty
equilibrium.
purpose of that cycle.
The soul that's used to make one of these scrolls is no longer the soul it was. The energy is transferred into the scroll, and when the scroll is consumed, that energy is released back into the ether, and then that is used in the weaving of new souls. So it's a continuous cycle, so to speak, is what I'm gathering.
Right. The problem is the evil act there is you're denying the soul the afterlife before it would to return to the ether.
You're skipping the steady disintegration in hell or high water.
Correct. And also things like, just because your time in hell or high water is not necessarily finite, beings can act to prevent themselves from re-entering the ether, the flow.
Damn liches.
Well, it's more like powerful devils or angels and the like. They're functionally immortal, and their soul, unless they choose to allow it to fade, won't just be returned to the ether over time. You know, through like the sheer force of their sense of being, they remain coherent.
Okay, I say we act against this then. I've had my good long philosophical think and whinge. I am now committed to action.
So what are you guys doing?
Planning. If we want to get the guy outside, we've got to come up with a very, very good reason for him to come outside.
Okay, throwing this out there. Love potion. We have them in the inventory for this exact situation.
I mean, yeah, they do become infatuated with you, and it's basically they drink it, they're infatuated, kind of how that's written, right?
I don't see a DC on there.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting it in a glass and having him drink it.
I don't recall reading it had to be consensual consumption of the liquid.
Well, okay, we were there for a decent amount of time. Was he drinking anything?
No.
Okay. Well, early in the morning, he might be drinking coffee. You could use time stop. You wouldn't be interacting with anything that would affect time stop, correct? By pouring a potion into a glass?
I don't think so.
Nope. You would not be.
So if he does have
how
a glass
much
of
potion
coffee,
is here?
I'm assuming it's probably like a 1 ounce vial that you can slip into a drink easily. Otherwise, it would be kind of a shitty potion.
It's a whole Gatorade bottle.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 32-ounce potion that you have to somehow get into their drink. Why is my coffee glass all of a sudden a gallon bucket? Oh, just drink it. Nothing's wrong with it. Just drink it.
It's okay. It's simple. It's simple. You do your thing. You get them up in conversation. I time stop outside. I walk inside. I put the potion inside of shit, and bada bing, bada boom.
The only question is, does his warding prevent time stop? Because he has warding all over the shop.
That would be some bullshit Baldur's Gate 2 source crap.
But it is possible. I mean, he has warding to prevent, lots of harm to him.
I would be genuinely surprised if Underdark used that.
It's a wizard built by Underdark, trying to stay alive. Would you be that surprised?
Let me put it this way. I'm fairly certain Underdark and I are both of at least generally similar opinions to Time Stop and Baldur's Gate 2. And the bullshit nature of there just being bosses in multitudes who don't give a shit about Time Stop. I highly doubt he would be doing that without, like... Let me put it this way. I highly doubt he'd be doing that on a wizard that we'd be encountering like this. There is
That's
a
fair.
level of gravitas to being able to ignore Time Stop I don't think the local printing press wizard has access to. If I am incorrect, then holy shit, you done got me.
All right, so the plan is we'll scope the place out, do a little more perusing, and then you can pop your time stop. I mean, do you really need to go outside to pop that?
Well, it's so he doesn't see it.
Ah, well, couldn't you just do it with your back to him, and then once time resumes, make sure you're standing in the same spot?
Underdark, what's involved in using my magic time stop sundial to do that?
Well, you have to pull the sundial out and say the activation word. Like, you could try to be surreptitious with it. But it isn't guaranteed. It's not trivial.
Nah, then outside would be easier, you're right. I figured I'd ask.
Wait.
So yeah, we'll go in there, peruse for what's the duration on Detect Good and Evil, like 10 minutes, same as Detect Magic?
Yes.
Yeah, so after 10 minutes, then you can pop your time stop. Well, you have to have some way of knowing whether or not he has a drink available. Because if he doesn't have a drink available, that, well, complicates things.
Offer the man some coffee.
That's a fair idea. Swing by a coffee shop. I mean, we're going to be doing a lot of work with the guy. It's kind of just a niche complimentary thing. Get it
You're
to go
bringing
cup,
some
hand it to him.
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure that it doesn't have the potion in it when we bring it to him. That way, if he does any, detection or anything like that, it will look like a just regular old cup of coffee. I like this plan.
Or if we want to get real crazy, I spike both cups. I don't suppose you spent a lifetime building up an immunity to iocane powder? I mean, love potions.
I'll just look at stone soup right away.
Oh god, we don't need a love triangle.
Well, doesn't it wear off?
You've already got some kind of fucking octet going on.
Well, no, I mean, if I remember correctly, doesn't it wear off?
What, love potion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like
it's
an
not
hour.
permanent. Yeah, so it would, it wouldn't turn into a love triangle. I mean, Stone Soup and Freeman have that, like, compatriot love relationship.
Yeah. Alright, so...
We know we can't actually be together,
so
but
let's
we're
see,
together while we're on
the
the
next
journey.
time you see a creature within 10 feet after drinking this filter, you become charmed by that creature for 1 hour. If that creature is of a species or gender you're not attracted to, you regard it as your true level charmed. This potion's rose... So, yeah. Unless you're, like, his type, he's not going to be, like, that kind of charmed. But he will be charmed regardless.
Yeah.
Charming in the fact that the creature will not attack you or use harmful abilities towards you or magical effects.
And suggestions you make, they like the idea of them and will go along with them as long as it's not harmful to them, which him leaving his house he might consider a harmful act. That's the only other problem. But we can get to that problem when we get there. But anyway, let's go order some to-go cups of coffee.
Actually, to that end, let's say hypothetically, you know what? Yeah, him leaving the house, really, really bad for his health. Well, you're just a concerned friend and you want to help your friend who's apparently very afraid with leaving his house, and why that might be.
All right. Even though Mr. isn't here, do we have access to the bag of holding?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pull a firebomb out just in case. Plan B.
I thought Plan B was place annihilation.
No, that's Plan F because we're fucked. We have other plans before we blow the place up. But if you set the place on fire, most people are motivated to leave the building when it is burning.
Oh, would you like me to do that during time stop as well?
Oh no, that's something I can do with relative ease. I'm gonna place an incendiary grenade somewhere combustible.
Somewhere in your domicile, I've placed an incendiary grenade. You don't know where it is, and you won't be able to find it. All right,
Yep.
all right. Getting silly aside, let's proceed.
Okay, before we leave, then, since we're going with Plan B being firebomb, could I rig up a? So we've established the grenades. Like this is a known fact. When the grenades hit something when they're set to X, they blow up. We know this. We've seen and experienced it several times. So can I rig up some sort of tube to have the grenade at the top with a pin holding it? So I can arm it and set the tube down somewhere flammable out of sight. Is that something that I could tinker up under?
So you basically just want like a tube with just like a hole near the top with like a stick through it, with a string tied to that stick. So you set the grenade on top, and then you just pull the
Yep.
stick out, and it drops down the tube and blows up. That's the idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's trivial.
Okay. Yeah, and well, more so the inconspicuous nature of it, being able to set it off to the
Oh.
side somewhere flammable.
I mean, it's not inconspicuous. It's a weird tube with a pin and this other thing at the top. No one's really going to know what it is.
Yeah, just pop it into a sack, do the old husband purse trick. Well, actually, no. No. I'm sorry. I not stringing a stick. I wanted to set up a timer. That's what I wanted to tinker.
With time.
I knew there was yeah, something that'll go off in like an hour.
Well, that you would require a Tinkerer's Tools check.
All right, that is what I want to tinker. And tinker is int again, right?
Yes.
And I will guidance the creation of this device.
Okay, yes, you are able to make a basic 1 hour timer.
All right, and then yeah, so yeah, put that in a sack. Have that sack with just like carrying it with me. Sack with yeah, we'll fill it with flammable stuff. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Although I'm sure the incendiary grenade will take care of most of the setting things on fire part. It is a 20-foot radius grenade after all.
Just remember, guys, to have fun.
Oh yes. All right, off to the coffee shop.
All right, yeah.
I'm sure requests for to-go cups will be strange, but they probably get it all the time.
Not really. Coffee shops were kind of a place you go to have coffee.
Mhm.
They don't have like paper cups and all of that.
This is pre-to-go culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I'm gonna pay extra. We're bringing
What-
it to a friend. He can't make it to the coffee shop.
Yeah, they wanted gold to cover like the
Up and
cups and the tray and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll give him 5 gold for 4 cups.
Okay.
A little extra.
I love how we just hilariously overpay for everything.
Yes, you do. Well, like
Oh,
they offer you like
I
a
do it on purpose.
well, it's funny. It's like they're like quoting you like the fuck off level of pricing Like, yeah, okay. It costs a whole gold piece for 4 cups of coffee. And like, here's 5, and you just fuck off. And they're like, God damn it, I didn't want to actually sell it to him.
Oh, I thought you were saying a gold per cup. It's a gold for 4 cups. Oh, okay.
Well, you already gave them the 5 and walked off with
Oh
it.
yeah,
So
no. Yeah,
they're not going to
yeah,
call
no,
after you
I'm
because
totally fine with that because that's even funnier.
yeah, you're just hilariously overpaying for something like coffee.
All right, here's 4 gold for the tray.
I feel like adventurers wreak havoc on people's like tax filings. Like, did you have any unreported income? I don't know what the fuck I file this under. This adventurer paid like 10 times what was expected.
There's a separate line for adventuring derived income.
And it's mostly non-taxable because it's considered a charitable donation. Except for in the state of Rhode Island.
All right.
But welcome back.
So yeah, you get this coffee. You've got your timer. What are you doing?
We're going to pick up our scrolls that we ordered and then offer him the coffee, have him cast non-detect on me. Everything we're planning on doing.
Well, I'm unclear about what you're planning on doing. That's why I'm asking. Because
Oh,
right now, all I
okay.
know for sure that you are physically doing is you're getting coffee. You're going to the magic shop and giving him the coffee and getting the spell cast on you. Everything else is just been your planning talk, but you haven't told me what you're actually doing.
So what we'll do?
Lucina's not coming in.
Yeah, I'll be waiting outside. They'll go in. They'll handle the business. Yada yada. I mean, look, I hate dealing with Freeman and his business. Anyways, he takes fucking 20 minutes every goddamn time. So I'll wait outside as would be totally expected for a man that takes forever on this business. When they're drinking, I'll just cast Time Stop. I'll go inside. I'll pour the filter of love into what's his face's coffee, and then I'll leave and go back to standing outside.
Yep. And then before we walk in, I'm going to cast Detect Magic. Ifan is going to cast Detect Good and Evil, and then we'll do a cursory scan of the place. After those 10 minutes is up is when we'll be because we'll be doing our exchanges, walking around, looking at other items, all of that normal business, what we've done already. And while we're doing that, Ifan and I will be scanning the place to see if anything really stands out, which I doubt it will, because any smart wizard would shield his shit behind a lead sheet. Like, sorry. Don't expect to find anything, but we're going to do it anyway kind of situation. And then after that 10 minutes up, I think just, have Ifan leave with all of the scrolls, and that'll be Lucina's cue to time stop and come in and pop up the love potion in his cup of coffee.
And that's all you're doing?
That is the plan.
Okay.
Up until we have hard contact with the enemy and we are forced to improvise.
Yep. Yeah, like if time stop doesn't work, for example. And Lucina just walks in the store and, time resumes normally.
I mean, look, if I time stop, enter, and I see him moving, he's dying.
But anyway, so yeah. And then I'll make sure he casts non-detect on me before that 10 minutes is up, essentially. To kind of eat up his coffee drinking time so that there's actually something in the cup for him to drink. And then, after Lucina successfully pours the potion, she'll go back outside, resume time, and then I'll wait for him to drink his coffee and then leave, and then Lucina can walk back in for the charm effect. You're better with the whole using command and all that stuff. So for convincing him to go outside, that'll be like Lucina's boat. That makes sense?
He would regard you as a friend. Unless you want him to see me first.
Yeah, that's like the idea. Is like I'm going to keep him busy, knowing after 10 minutes that you will have time stopped and came in and poured it in there, I'll make sure he doesn't drink. Constant, like every time he goes to take a drink, Freeman will say something else to get him to stop drinking so that he has to respond. That
Why not just
annoying
have him
person kind
drink
of
it?
process.
Why not just have him drink it and have him see you? Then you can lie through your teeth at him.
That's true. But wouldn't the charm effect be more persuasion?
Okay, so charm effects will provide a bonus. Well, not really a bonus, but hold on. So
They provide
the
advantage
charmer
in
has
social
advantage on the ability checks to interact socially with a creature. So I could do that. However, Lucina is very much geared to like pleasantly interacting with people, not lying through her teeth.
But you wouldn't be lying. You're just pleasantly trying to get him to go outside. You don't have
Right.
to lie to do
But
that.
if remember, he's not going to do anything totally crazy. So if that fails, we want to have access to your deception so that we can get more out of him.
I'm lost on what we need to get out of him other than outside.
It's more if he is absolutely unwilling to go outside.
Well,
like
that's the firebombs for.
his fear of outside is greater than a firebomb or a filter of love operating at its maximum capacity.
What firebomb? You never mentioned anything about that in your plan of what you were actually doing.
Well, when Freeman and Ifan are walking around doing their scans, Freeman will stealthily place the firebomb somewhere and activate the timer.
In the shop.
Inside the shop. Near
Okay.
the back, as to, have the fire burn so that the person, inside wants to go out the front. I mean, outside in general is the goal, but, Freeman's mentality would be like, get him out the front, and we're good to go. So he would try to put the firebomb near the rear of the shop. And also, that would be the easiest spot for breaking sightline with somebody who's typically sitting by the front door waiting for customers. I forgot to mention that. Thank you. So yes, as it stands, Friedman, Ifan, and I think Stone Soup would be coming with us to pick up the scrolls. Go in, have our pleasantries, give him his coffee, as a sign of, friendship and thanks for the discreet casting of non-detection. And then we, pick up our scrolls, pay for them, peruse the shop a little bit more while scanning with our 10-minute window that we have there. After those 10 minutes, Ifan will take the scrolls and leave. And Lucina will queue then to come into the shop once she sees Ifan leave.
Yeah, so you go to the coffee shop, you get your coffee, you head to the Cat in the Hat. And you walk in, and there is Sucru, sitting behind his round table in the center. And he looks up when you come in and says, welcome, Freeman. And Ifan's with you at this point?
Yeah, Ifan and Stone Soup would be.
Okay.
Hey, GR.
Hello.
Yeah. And so, you walk into the shop. He greets you. Welcome back, Freeman. I have... He, reaches down and, pulls up a small, box like you would see from, a hat store.
Was that a slip of the tongue? You called me Freeman. I went by Tanner.
Oh, that's right, Tanner. Yes, that was my slip of the tongue.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nope. Yeah, I was just making sure we didn't have the same issue with
no.
Spy Master.
Yeah, so, he says, Tanner, welcome back. I have your order right here. He reaches down, pulls up this kind of a squat box like you would see in a hat shop, and puts it on the counter. And inside are, all the scrolls you've ordered, just kind of stacked vertically in there. He says, as you can see, they're all here. I presume you have payment?
Yep. The 1,000 gold for that, and I already paid you for the first casting of non-detect. If you don't mind, I'd like that taken care of as quickly as possible.
Certainly, just stand still. And he begins casting a spell.
I'm gonna make a arcane check just to make sure that looks like he's casting non-detect.
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
I can hear your dog screaming "Insight check" in the background.
Yeah, it looks like he is going through the components of non-detection, which finishes casting, and you are no longer detectable.
Excellent. I cast invisibility on myself and start punching him. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god, that's some bullshit. I love that.
Now, you said you were walking in there with Detect Magic running, correct?
Yes. And then Ipfon would also have Detect Good and Evil running.
Right. So Detect Good and Evil doesn't ping anything.
Okay.
Detect Magic, however, so as you're approaching the shop stands out like a beacon in the darkness. You know, it is just, the entire structure is just singing with abjuration magic. And when you walk in,
I suppose all the warding.
Yep. When you walk in, you can see that also, like, the floor inside, the various shelves, the ceiling, the table, all of which, the doors, all abjuration magic. However, Sukru is also pinging magic. Illusion magic.
Oh, interesting.
The scrolls he pulls out, each scroll is also magical and corresponds to the school of that scroll. The box itself is not magical.
Okay. Yeah, so the scrolls aren't illusion magic. That's good.
Yes, they appear to be true, valid scrolls as far as you are able to tell. Aside from their weird uniformity in their, for the ones where you have multiple copies of the same spell.
Oh, the coffee! I forgot the coffee. And Freeman, like Stone Soup's probably holding the platter with the coffee on it, and grab one of the cups off. This is just a token of thank you. I didn't know what kind you took, so we got 4 different ones here.
Oh, thank you. He accepts the coffee.
So, okay, this would be, I guess, another Arcana check for Friedman. What illusion could he be running?
Make an Arcana check.
Oh. Because, yeah, that would be obviously a bit of a red flag for our plan if he's running, duplicate of himself or something weird like that. Because isn't there, like, puppeteering magic too, sort of thing? 21.
Okay. So it could be a lot of different things. Something as minor as if he's using, like, disguise self on himself.
Okay.
Or alter
That's what
self.
I was originally thinking.
It would look like that. However, in terms of worst case scenarios, this could also be like project image.
Would project image be able to interact with the cup of coffee?
No. In fact, most illusions are not physical. So, in terms of being
most
physical,
likely,
it would be something like disguise self,
alter image, yeah.
Alter
So,
self.
A masking spell of some kind, not actually a projection.
That would be the most common, yes. He did physically interact with the cup you handed to him, and he did cast a spell on you. So it's not like this is a programmed illusion.
Okay. That makes it better. So, yeah, worst case scenarios are aside now because he interacted. So then, yeah, we'll and yeah, like I said, I'll kind of keep the conversation with him rolling, making up tales of my adventures that I'm running from and need the non-detect for and everything like that. So every time he tries to take a cup, I'll say something that he would be inclined to respond to so that he doesn't drink it all right away.
Sure, I would say make a performance check as you kind of go through all of this.
Another one I don't have a good roll in. Oh, well, I rolled good at least.
Yeah, you spin your tales, you keep his attention, and yeah, he just kind of ignores the coffee cup sitting up that you gave him on the table. he set it down to like hand over the scrolls, to handle the money, and to cast the spell, and he hasn't had a chance to pick it up yet.
Perfect. Yeah, well, I'll just tell him like, oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna peruse a little bit more. Might pick a few more items up. After spending the night and discussing it with the party of other items we might be interested in. I'll have Ipfan here run these back to the inn for storage, and then the wife here and I'll peruse for a little bit longer, and then we'll probably be out of your hair. I'll see you
Sure.
again in the evening, obviously, for the next casting of Non-Detect.
Oh, of course. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to purchase anything.
All right. And also, Freeman would like to take a special note of where he moved the platinum that Freeman gave him for payment.
It looked
What did he do with it?
It looked like he had almost like he dropped it in a bucket at his feet, but you didn't hear any sound come from it.
Okay. Peculiar. I would have definitely heard a sound, but it didn't make a sound. How strange. So yeah, Freeman will, mosey on, working his way through the shop, nondescriptly, not standing out or anything like that, not doing anything obvious, and then drop this sack and set the timer, or activate the timer in the back of the shop.
I will need a stealth check from you as you do this. Okay, yeah, you are easily able to avoid his cursory surveillance.
Has Ipfan opened the door and left the building?
Ipfan, at that point, opens the door and leaves the building.
All right, 1 second.
Dachshund throwing the wrench into things.
I got 3 rounds of time stop.
All right. The
I'm
world
going-
goes gray. What do you do?
I'm putting the love filter into his drink.
Okay, so you open the door, you walk in, and you pour the filter of love into the coffee cup on the table. Do I have that correct?
Is that the one he's by?
That is the only one you would see on like the center table by him. Like remember, he's standing inside of like a annular desk.
Yeah, Freeman
Yes.
would have his cup in his hand. Ipfan would have walked out with a cup, and Stone Soup would have the fourth cup.
Yes. I pour into that cup.
Okay, you do so. Anything else So, yeah, you still got like 2 more rounds, I think.
2 more rounds?
Well, 2 more actions, really.
Robin Blind.
Mm-hmm.
No. But I have some ideas about what's happening. But I head back outside, back to exactly where I was.
Okay. And while you're just waiting out the time stop?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you wait. Time resumes.
When I say exactly, I mean exactly. We're talking a Revrian guard post level of exactly.
Okay. Make a insight check then. Let's see how well you can find the exact same spot you were in. Yeah.
Somebody moved the gaffer tape.
Well, that's the thing. He made like no way to like. He didn't mark his position or anything.
Oh, I should clarify one final thing.
Mhm.
The Cat in the Hat was grayed out too, yeah?
Yes.
Had to check.
How are you moving in my stopped time?
Shh! Don't tell anyone I'm spiking his drink. Bye. All right, but yeah, I let time resume.
Okay.
You walk in there, he looks at you, you're like, we'll discuss this later.
Spikes drink anyways, leaves.
Like right in front of him. Don't even conceal it. You just open this vial and pour it into the coffee.
I'm not
Do
here.
you think there's
Well-
someone out there who knows every time that you do that?
So at that point, I do have several vials. My plan would have been to adapt and pour it in everyone's drink.
So anyway, yeah, time resumes. Freeman, Stone Soup, Ipfon, Lucina, what are you guys doing?
I'm
Oh,
hanging out where I was.
Whatever I was doing 1 second ago.
Yeah, I'm just
Leaving the
perusing.
building.
Okay.
And then once once Ifan leaves, I'll peruse for like 2 or 3 minutes, plant the firebomb, and then also make my way towards the door in an effort to beat him drinking the coffee, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're leaving, you simply hear him pleasantly say, "Well, have a good day. I'll see you later this evening."
Mm-hmm. And
And
Freeman will just hold up his coffee cup to him and enjoy the coffee, and then walk out the door without saying anything else.
Okay.
To remind him the coffee cup exists, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Now
So
it's
yeah.
Lucina's turn to go shopping.
All 4 of you are outside.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're going in for the charm effect. You're better suited for that. I don't think deception is going to be the winner there.
I picked you, Ruffles, because I don't know how to charm people.
Well, I guess Freeman will go back inside.
Just one more thing, like Columbo.
Yeah.
Okay. So you walk back inside. Sucru's there behind his desk. No coffee cup in sight. You're back early.
No coffee cup in sight, as in it's gone?
You do not see it at present.
Well, we were there long enough and didn't see him cast Detect Magic, so he couldn't have known there was magic in it.
And I'm behind full cover.
Why does that matter?
If he had Detect Magic, he wouldn't have detected me.
Oh, I got you. I mean, you probably would have been out of range anyway.
Precautions.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about possibly commissioning a couple of second level scrolls, and then Friedman will kind of trail off and. Oh, did you not like the coffee? I apologize if it wasn't the flavor that you liked.
No, coffee was fine. I drank it already.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, insight check.
Make an insight check, sure. You have advantage on this, I would say.
Yes.
Oh, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Weird. I wonder why.
He does seem a little jittery.
Ah.
Like he threw that whole coffee back like a shot.
Yeah, that's where the concern was. Is like, oh, he figured out the coffee cup was fucked up and didn't drink it.
I gotta be honest, that's what I thought.
I know.
I was straight up concerned, Ruffles, that what had just happened was he was also running Detect Magic, saw that it was suddenly now magical,
But that's the thing.
way
I
you said
intentionally
it sounded
burned
knowing.
time. Yeah, I intentionally burned time so that if he did have Detect Magic running by chance, that it would, expire while we were in there before, he would think to recast it and drink his coffee. But anyway, okay. So he's seeming a bit jittery. Does he seem fond of me? Eyes a little bit more round?
Not really more round. You get the feeling that while you've charmed him, he regards you friendly. You're not his type.
Excellent. We got the what was it? The consolation effect.
Yeah, you can tell you've charmed him, but he's not in love with you.
Ah, okay.
Press the.
Well,
It's not like
I
that.
mean, if you pounded that cup of coffee down that quickly, why don't we just go get another one? I'd love to hear some stories about your life. You seem an interesting fellow.
I hate to kill you.
I know, I didn't want to say it in character.
Dude, I had to fucking restrain myself when you started talking about putting shit in everybody's glass. No.
Well-
Where's the poison? The game is begun.
when your back was turned.
Well, I'm afraid that I can't really leave the shop. But if you want to go get more coffee, I will be happy to sit here and swap tales with you while I watch over the shop.
Oh, but the sun, it's so nice out. Why not go for a walk?
Because I have to watch over the shop.
Well, you can close it up, can't you? I mean, you just made a big sale. Not like you need the money.
Yeah, but this is an institution. Like, everybody comes here when they need weird esoteric magic crap.
Inside.
Yeah, I'll insight him again.
Sure.
See if I can puzzle advantage still.
Yes, you still have advantage on it.
Okay.
Honest to God, at this point, I almost feel like I'm peering over like the windowsill into the building.
You get the feeling that it's not so much that he won't leave, so much as he can't.
Okay, so what, my nightly visitor had told me. He's too afraid to leave, so it's not so much a will or will not, it's he just won't.
It's... Listen to what I say. It's not that he won't leave, it's that he can't.
Like he's bound to the shop?
Or something. Insight is not like magical mind control or
Yeah.
Telepathy or anything like that. But you get the feeling that the excuses and such that he is making up is because he must make up these excuses because he cannot leave.
Yeah, out of curiosity, is Lucina near enough to the door waiting that she'd be at least able to kind of like overhear how things are going?
No.
No.
Assuming you don't want to cast your silhouette on the door.
Fair enough.
It's papered over, but you would still block the light and therefore form a silhouette that he would see.
Has it been a couple of minutes?
No, he's walked in and asked like 3 questions.
Oh,
It's
fair
been
enough.
all of like 20 seconds.
Fair enough. I'll give it like 2 minutes. And if Freeman's not out, I'm gonna lean in. It's like, you gonna be a while? Do you need me to get more coffee or something?
Yeah, I'll continue with the train of thought of trying to get him to leave and to try determining why he won't. So I'll steer the conversation more into an interrogation.
Well, then what do you say?
Not great at dialogue.
Keep it friendly.
Yeah, obviously. Raymond's not an idiot. He's a fucking mastermind.
Shit, now I'm wondering if I needed to be doing this.
Well, I was the one who suggested you be the one doing it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so Freeman, you're in there. What do you say? Awkward silence. Got it.
I'm thinking under. I'm sorry. My brain space is running short. So I'm trying to think of how I would word a conversation. I mean, yeah, it's like general small talk, but I'd be steering the conversation towards, rooting out the true reason he doesn't want to leave. But I don't know exactly
all he
what to
responds
do
throughout
then.
that entire thing is just is various excuses and reasoning that ultimately boil down to he, has to run the shop. He has to watch over the shop.
So how long has it been since you've been outside?
Oh, probably a couple of years.
That's a long time of writing scrolls.
Well, needs must and all that.
I see. Well, if you wanted to, I could watch the shop for you. You could Stretch your legs, get some fresh air.
Oh no, that wouldn't be proper. It's always been me here and the Cat in the Hat, and if someone walked in and it was you behind the counter, they might not appreciate that.
And after spending enough time, Freeman will start mimicking his voice and accent a little bit. Well, you could always disguise me.
But I'm the one who has to watch the shop.
Why is that?
Well, because the shop has to be watched, and I must do it.
How did you come about owning this shop?
Well, I bought it from some gnomish fellows a couple years ago.
Ah,
They were running a joke shop, but not getting a whole lot of patronage. And I think they ran afoul of some of the city guard. Yeah, perhaps they might have been encouraged to do some public demonstrations of their wares, and they had to leave town in a hurry. And I was able to get a good price on it and refurbished it for my own use.
I am quite fond of gnomes and their pranks. Have you ever seen a Tinker's hand buzzer? Those are such a clever contraption.
Can't say I have. No, but the gnome jokes were more things like suddenly causing all of the armor that a guard was wearing to turn into cheese.
That's a good one. A classic.
Classic cheese armor.
No one's quite sure how they managed to have it maintain like the correct feel of the armor. But it was revealed when the gnome simply walked up and bit a piece out of the armor and kept chewing as he walked away.
How peculiar. I must tell Marcus about that. He would laugh. All right. Has enough time passed that Lucina would be curious?
Probably.
Yeah, Lucine will pop her head in.
Oh, hey, it's one of Tanner's other friends. How do you do?
Doing well. Just wondering what was Oh, are you guys still doing business?
No, we're just chit-chatting. He was wondering about how I bought the shop. I was telling you about these rather peculiar gnomes I bought it from after they got ran out of town after turning a guard's armor into cheese.
Ha! Classic.
He just blinks. If you say so. The guard was less than amused.
And
Insight.
Freeman, knowing that he's the one in charge of the charm effect, will start parroting everything, like not directly what Lucina says, but that sort of mimicry of statements.
What?
Like whatever Lucina says, Freeman will kind of repeat it to agree with, and also influence the shopkeeper with the
Sure.
charm effect.
My God, just make it apparent that I'm pulling your strings, why don't you?
You're the one that didn't want to do the charm shit, and here you are.
All right, and you, Lucina, you said you were doing an insight check.
Oh, yeah, just
Sure, make an insight check then.
specifically his reaction to the idea of the joke being funny or not. Like, yeah.
Okay, yeah. He
Does
doesn't
that
appear
fail?
to have. No, it doesn't fail.
Okay.
He just doesn't appear to see the humor in it.
Doesn't see humor in cheese. Most interesting.
Must be a Revrian.
Under. It was a stockpile of, what was it, Unseen Servant that he had?
Yes.
I mean, if you guys are gonna talk about more I don't know what, Unseen Servant scrolls or something, I can get you guys more coffee if you want. I'm not really doing anything else. Listening's gonna look at the backs. Do you want some more coffee? Look at Freeman. Do you guys want some?
I think I'm good. That one cup did me pretty well.
Alrighty. Under, how much time has passed?
Like 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, so we got 50 left.
Well, we have less than that. The firebomb was set before he was charmed. We probably have like 45 minutes left.
Okay. And for the sounds of it, you guys are, what, swapping stories?
Yeah, they've been making small talk.
Freeman, did you... It's not Freeman.
Tanner.
Tanner, thank you. I'm like looking through the list of all the names, like, hold on, okay, no, he's not Rourke this time. He's, wait, what the?
Freeman, as of right now, from the party's perspective, has used close to a dozen different names
I know, I
and
can never
seems
keep
to
track
have
of how
no
many we have.
issue using them.
Yeah. Tanner. Have you told him the story about the Hells?
That's a boring story.
Are you kidding? It's the reason that you have to get these castings.
I'm kind of waiting for the NPC's response.
Oh, is that what you need the non-detection for? Your vacation was to the hell?
Well, I did say it was
Yeah.
somewhere hot.
He
I just never said how hot.
he's being coy. Honestly, when we were separated for a time, and when he told us, we thought he meant like he had been down to, say, the Dragon Throne, or one of the nearby areas, hit up a local wizard or something, and the baby mama was after him. We ended up discovering it was whoever he pissed off was from the Hells. I'm actually rather surprised he didn't speak a little more openly about this, given that you are a mage of some renown. Sorry to throw you under the bus, Tanner.
I keep to myself. But yeah, I've a bit of a devil problem. Don't we all these days?
No, not particularly, but that I can certainly see why you sought magical assistance.
Insight check.
Yep, insight.
Sure.
What I'm looking for specifically under is more
I have
how
no idea what to ask.
how
to probe
familiar
this.
the types of like, how should I put this? I'm less looking for truthfulness of statement and more I'm trying to look to kind of a level of knowingness, like personal knowingness in relation to, say, needing to keep safe from fiends.
Well, make your insight
That's
check.
the best I can put it. And I'm going to spend that sorcery point.
Okay. Yes, you can both tell that he, has some experience with dealing with fiends and the like, and not in a positive way. So yeah, he totally understands why you would want something like non-detection while you deal with a fiendish stalker of some kind.
I was going to say, and then the other thing that Friedman would now bring up after that little, tangent of the conversation would be is, how did you manage to print up nearly a dozen first level spell scrolls overnight? That's preposterous. No wizard I know can do that.
No, you're correct. I didn't write them myself.
Ah, so you have a prenti.
No, but it is something I would prefer to keep a bit of a trade secret. You understand, competitive advantage and all that.
Oh, I mean, we're your number one customer at this point. I wouldn't give your secret away to somebody else. That's it's foolish.
Let's just say that I have a. Actually, I would need a persuasion check from you then. You still have your advantage, but yeah.
I would totally tell everybody.
What?
Dilute the market. Friedman was lying right there.
Oh well, then fine. Make a deception check.
I would never stab you in the back, friend. Messina's gonna give you the fucking side eye.
So he's like, "Well, I've found a way to make one scroll and have that making of a scroll simultaneously make other scrolls. And in doing so, I can effectively make scrolls en masse. I mean, it takes components and the like, but the scribing itself can be greatly accelerated."
How peculiar. I could see why you'd want that kept off the market. You wouldn't want to, have your stock diluted by other people knowing this and copying your methods.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's how I've maintained my position as the premier magic shop in Tamaway. Really, the whole eastern coast of Revia.
Well, kind of a buyer's market anyway. Or no, it'd be a seller's market?
Seller's market.
Yeah, seller's market. Friedman would say that correctly.
Indeed.
And, I mean, going off of the principle of a consumable item, it's always a seller's market when something's consumed.
I mean, given your insight and experience into it, keeping knowledge as revolutionary as what you've just described concealed, I don't suppose you'd have any other tips or ideas on how to deal with a fiendish stalking? We've had 2 encounters thus far, and by the gods, these fiends seem to only get more vicious and more tricky each attempt.
Well,
I'm sure-
there are a couple of ways you could deal with fiends. The most straightforward of which would be to somehow divine its true name and use that to essentially order it to stay away from you. The true name is not perfect control, but it does provide a modicum of security. Is this a devil or a demon that's hunting you?
Pretty sure it's a devil. One of the
we're fairly
archdukes.
certain it's a devil.
Unlike demons, devils do seem to generally follow at least an internally consistent logic. If you were to find out what it's actually after, you might be able to make a deal with it that ends with you being left alone.
That may be the issue. We're not entirely certain we can make a deal. It seems to be after.
We're not entirely certain what it's after. We don't know if we can make a deal or not at this point.
It seems almost hell bent on revenge against whatever slight Freeman did, knowing or unknowing.
Well, the last option would be to go to hell yourself and hunt this fiend down and kill him where it lays.
We'll slot that in next Tuesday.
Under.
Mhm.
I have my own suspicion, but I'd like to try insiding to confirm. His first response that he went to was true name. Of all the things he could have gone to as true name, I would like to insight that set of responses there.
Okay.
I mean, it does make sense. That'd be the first thing.
You get the sense that he was giving you options in terms of escalating risk to yourselves. If you know its true name, that is the safest way to deal with the fiend. Opposite that, making a deal that provides for your safety as part of the deal is safer than attempting an out-and-out assault on its lair in hell.
Right, so the true name part didn't have, say, an element of like emotional biases, like one might have if that's exactly what you've done.
You didn't get to that sense from it. It's more like this is a person who takes their personal safety somewhat seriously, and therefore is not about to engage in unnecessary risk when lesser risk is available.
Fair enough. Would this help against fiends' intermediaries?
Depends. If the fiend's intermediaries are fiends themselves, then usually yes, they would be bound just by their own true names. They would not, however, be bound by their superior's true name. You need each fiend has their own true name, and that's how the only real way to control them with a true name is to use it on that specific fiend. Unfortunately, fiends are not the only intermediaries of fiends. I mentioned making a deal. If they require something from you, they may also require you to act as an intermediary on a fiend's behalf. And unless you are fiends yourselves, knowing your true name would not actually provide any control over you.
Is he speaking with, like, personal authority on this, or...
He's speaking with, like, an academic tone to it.
All right. Yes,
like he's repeating what he read in a book.
We have gotten to the point that I am actually analyzing the public speaking rhetoric used.
This is like a professor giving a lecture.
He's reiterating what he's read in a book.
Well, not necessarily based solely on book. This may be things he has personal experience with, but he is speaking as an academic authority here.
Yep.
With that type of tone and cadence to it.
That's what I'm looking for.
This is not a monotone repetition of a paragraph you read in a book. This is personal knowledge being given to you.
Well, then we'll Friedman will go more direct. You ever had to make a deal with the devil?
A deal? No. I've found that all of those deals, no matter how benign, typically has a downside to it. One that is far more costly than any benefit you might get out of it. I cannot recommend making a deal with any fiend except in the direst of circumstances. And usually, if you're in those types of circumstances, that is exactly when you should not be making deals with fiends.
Lucina is going to make sure to give a look at Freeman, emphasizing his the Cat in the Hat's point.
Well, out of character, that's a you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of deal.
I know.
It's not a we're in a dire situation where we need this devil off our back.
Ruffles. I know.
So Friedman
It's
ignores your
all-
glare.
It's all part of the act.
Well, your vacation, Tanner, it wasn't a part of a fiendish pact, now was it?
Oh, no. I was down in the hells on accident, poking around a little bit, and I think I caught somebody's attention. As to the why, no idea. Devils be devils.
But they're quite hell bent on killing him. They want their revenge.
Hell's bent.
Yes, the hells are hell's bent on vengeance against him.
Well, outside of learning its true name and assuming that you, since you're talking about deals so much, that you're unwilling to risk a out-and-out assault on their lair in hell, not that I can blame you for that,
At this time.
then cutting a deal with him, or her, or whatever it is. Some of them are somewhat blob-like. Cutting a deal may be the only way to get them off your back on a more permanent basis. Non-detection, after all, is a 8-hour spell. It might prevent them from finding you magically, but it won't. If they have agents or intermediaries looking for you, they can report on your position, and that non-detection doesn't protect you against that.
We took care of the most recent ones. So we were just hoping to avoid the next batch a little bit longer, at least for our stay in town.
Actually, he has a point. How would, if we needed to, how would we get in contact with a fiend to try to mediate this?
We'd have to know which fiend it is.
True.
We don't.
I-
We've thought of this.
I know. Would you happen to know if there's any kind of legal recourse in the hells we could try appealing to get this resolved?
Well, the hell isn't a legal system the way you're thinking of. They're bound by laws, yes, but we're talking about metaphysical laws, laws of magic, laws of their being, not there's no court that you could appeal to, if that's what you're asking. As for contacting a fiend, and you don't know the fiend's name, your best bet would be to do some type of infernal summoning some type of lesser fiend, and making a minor deal with it to deliver a message for you to some fiend, based on whatever description you might have to determine that you even know it's a fiend. You are sure it's a fiend, right, and not like a celestial or a fae?
Yeah. Go with like 99% sure.
All right. Hey, I'm just asking. No, I'm just
Covering the
asking.
bases, asking the
Yeah.
questions. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I suppose it could be a champion as well. My knowledge there is mostly academic, though. We're fairly certain it's a fiend.
But there's the hell is a rather large place. There are a lot of fiends, and if you have nothing to, if you don't know the fiend's name of whoever is pursuing you, then you would need to give this summoned fiend as much information as you could, plus whatever it demands for its fee, to have it deliver a message to it for you.
Well, I'm sure there's not a whole bunch of archdukes going around chasing escaped souls. That would probably narrow it down.
For a single soul, doubtful, unless you did something to particularly piss off this archdevil. If
Like I said, no clue.
if that's the case, then well, you're just kind of fucked.
Do you know of any that are exceedingly vindictive?
Most of them are.
Yeah, that doesn't narrow it down.
I-
We're getting off.
I
out of
think
character.
I think you're failing to understand just how little that would narrow it down.
Fair enough. More
And
trying to
out of
figure out this-
character, we are getting off topic of the original plan.
I know, Ruffles. I am scoping out for what avenues I can while we have this. Remember, we can't. We have limited things on what we can do here. Like, we can't get him to leave the shop, so I'm probing for adjacent info.
Yeah, but I mean, in all reality, everything you've asked is mostly stuff we know. I've not established any new information, at least from my perspective, as Freeman and as a player. Unless you're just going for confirmation of that which we already know, which we already have confirmation of.
Not quite. More a suspicion has developed during the conversation. The issue is I'm trying to figure out how to naturally steer it towards that end. Under how much time has passed in conversation?
Well, you've probably spent about 30 minutes discussing fiends or so.
How much time left on the potion?
Probably 20 minutes then.
So 15 minutes till firebomb.
Yeah.
Under. Just because the amount of information deluge I have here. The knowledge I had there on what'd you call them again? Champions?
You're talking about like the agents of the gods.
Yeah. And how there's specifically one that's heavily associated with a fiend.
Huh?
You made reference to there is a fiend that is a fiend entirely through like being a massive pain in the ass to deal with, and they are like
Duke of Retribution.
Yes.
Yes.
What other information would I know on that? This is one of those situations where I don't have all the information the character might necessarily have on hand, and what I'm
You know as much as your character does in terms of that. There's not a lot of information available about Powena.
Not so much Powena itself, but like adjacent stuff. What I'm attempting to do conversationally is through the application of some information, I am trying to narrow especially because he's speaking as a like an authoritative individual. He both knows this through theoretical and practical experience. I am attempting to ask questions that he can then use that authority on and try to see if that will lead to that end state of Poina.
I don't understand what you're getting at.
Yeah, you got me lost too.
So, with public speaking and rhetoric in general, when holding a conversation with someone, you can bait information out of them, especially authorities, by approaching things that they have knowledge on, but you are expressing ignorance with. And what will tend to happen is they will provide an answer along with associated context. I have
Yeah, that's basically been this whole conversation.
Yep. And this is one of those things where I'm having trouble figuring out how to do it personally. The goal is to try to get as close to the answer being Poina. I am trying to guide it over to that point. That's what I'm saying.
So you're trying to, ferret out information about Poina from Sucru.
Yes, we're so far it's been a rather academic conversation. A little bit's about Freeman's sojourn into the Hells has been revealed. We're kind of steadily working through there, kind of following that present train of thought to get to that conclusion and seeing how his answers kind of develop along those lines.
Okay, so do it. What do you say to him?
This is part of my problem. I've now lost track of the dialogue.
Well, you were discussing fiends in the Hells, ways to control them. You gave up the information that Freeman had a negative encounter, and you were looking for a way to stop it from chasing you guys. That the fiend is being somewhat persistent.
Fair enough.
And, you might want to bring up, if you happen to know of any fiends that, say, have a reputation for being annoyingly persistent, that might be a way to bring it up in this conversation.
Did I not say that earlier?
No.
Not fair enough. I used vindictive.
So what do you say?
Yeah, I'll just ask that. If he has any knowledge of any fiends that have a reputation for being annoyingly persistent. Because so far what's been thrown at us has been incredibly lethal. And for the most part, utterly implacable.
Well, there's a couple of fiends that would come to mind there. Two, really. One is... he's a bit of an oddball, even by fiendish standards. Known only as the Curator. He maintains a museum of sorts of souls and other magical artifacts. He and spends what resources he has finding, buying, and trading for the rarest of these souls and soul-related magics. He's somewhat enigmatic in that no one that I've ever, found or had any account of has been able to explain what this particular devil's end goal is, since it doesn't really seem to be, like most devils, trying to accumulate as much personal power and as large of a fiefdom in the Hells as possible. The Curator seems rather content with a small little segment of it. But he has maintained relative independence of other, devils in that area, so he isn't to be underestimated. The reason I bring that up is, if you were, say, to attack his museum, he might very well take that very personally and send stuff after you consistently.
Well,
The
Don't
other,
remember any museums?
you would know. You would probably have noticed this. This would have been a place of oddities and unusual things. The other one that comes up is the mother of the Erinys, corrupted angels. She basically creates them with a single-minded drive to punish murderers and abusers. She is known as the Poena, Duke of Retribution. Again, not someone who maintains any real power base in hell. It doesn't maintain a fiefdom, but has a rather elite band that travels about meting out justice, if you could call it that, on people, usually children, that attack them. Did you happen to attack any children while you were in hell?
No. Did stop an orphanage from burning.
Yeah, he shrugs. Well, I'm afraid then that both good and bad news. Bad news in the sense that you may not know exactly which devil is coming after you. Good news in that it might not, in fact, be one of the dukes of hell. It might not be an archdevil, just a normal devil. Significantly easier to deal with should it come to a straight fight.
Oh, well,
Just to confirm,
Mhm.
the curator, mother of what is it, Erinys
Erinys.
and Erinys and Poena, Duke of Retribution.
He referred to
Mother of
Poena as the mother of Erinys.
yeah.
Could you do me a favor and type those up for me? Excellent. Got a more formal name out of this. Very good. Oh, well, yeah, I know how to spell the curator. I'm glad you did it, though, because it could have been spelled with a K. And that's where he leaves it off under? Or does he have more?
That's where he leaves it off after basically saying that it's possible that the devil that you pissed off, however inadvertently, is not one of the big names, and therefore should be much easier to deal with. However, if it's one of these guys, you're kind of fucked.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? Under. May I make a religion check to see if Lucina knows much about those two?
No, that would entirely be Arcana.
That's my wheelhouse.
That would work. Lucina would like to think on those two then and see if she can come up with anything as like almost like student response to a teacher.
Sure. Nope.
Nothing? I have never heard of these. I know it shouldn't be much a surprise that you would know, but how did you come across the information on such obscure fiends?
I mean,
Especially
same as
ones
me.
so enigmatic.
Research and time.
Some of us have spent a longer time doing things than others, and have gained commensurately more knowledge.
With this guy's intimate knowledge of the level of knowledge he has about specific devils, have I come across his name specifically in the last decade?
No.
Okay. Figured I'd ask.
Well, that's a
mean-
good question to ask because you would expect it to have, given his level of esoteric knowledge.
Mm-hmm. This ruffles
So
is
his-
why I'm picking.
So his level of esoteric knowledge is much more firsthand than somebody who's read it in a book.
You get as I said, he's not just reciting from a textbook. He's imparting personal knowledge.
But giving it with a lecturous sort of delivery.
Yes, as if he's used to lecturing.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's see. Well, I'm sure. Would I be familiar with the infernal printing press device? Like, is that something
No.
that I've read about? No. Okay.
Do we know about the fiendish motor trikes?
Not a thing.
Different hell. Okay. Souls of children. All right. I'd like to make a like I guess it'd be Arcana knowledge history check of any devils that I'm familiar with that are particularly fond of children's souls.
Sure. That would be Arcana.
Does my background affect this?
No. Not for children's souls specifically.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a we play it by ear with that history skill. I was asking, yeah. So it would be Arcana. Okay. 21.
So, while all devils kind of would prefer children's, they prefer the souls of the innocent, because corrupting the innocent is, kind of like it gives them more power than just reaping an already corrupted soul. But there really isn't any like powerful devils you know of that specifically target children.
That's with a 21.
That's with a 21.
Okay. All right, then my last because I mean we're running out of time here. My last thought would be what would prevent a devil from leaving a home? Like what if this guy is actually a devil in disguise, which he should have pinged on Ipfon's detect good and evil.
You would have expected him to, yes.
So either powerful magic shielding that, or he's not actually a devil, or he's not going to ping on good and evil. I'd have to look at the specifics of that. Regardless, Ipfen gave no signal saying there was any good or evil in the place. So what would prevent somebody from leaving their home?
Are you asking him?
No, Freeman's thinking.
So, you know that there are spells like Planar Binding and Magic Circle that can be used to confine outsiders.
You could also use it to keep them out.
Yes, you can also use it to keep them out, but if they're already inside the circle, they prevent it from leaving.
And those are pretty spicy spells and not easily broken.
From the
Oh.
fiend within, not so easy. From the outside, not that hard. Usually, dispel magic will be enough to break a magic circle. Planar binding, I'd have to double check on.
I'm checking that one now. So, planar binding, creature must be within range for the entire casting of the spell. Typically, first summoned into an inverted magic circle to keep it trapped. Yada yada. Blobbity blobbity. Year and a day. Obeys the letter of your instructions. In all likelihood, Ruffles, from what you're describing, he might be using variants of these spells or like specific conditions.
Specifically focusing on his intent to stay in the shop. That seems like more he's bound here somehow.
It could also be he just has a very strong desire to stay inside.
Could that... So again, John was having... Could that be all that's keeping the charm from working under? Is like he literally has willed himself to stay here? Is there a spell that he could cast on himself?
Charm is not mind control, first off.
Yes, I know that.
Well, I say that because there are... You could... If somebody is dead set against something, that there is no way, that there is no condition that you would ever be able to persuade them of it. Charming them doesn't help any, because they are still absolutely unwilling to do whatever that is.
Right. You can't charm a paladin and then say, murder that child.
Right.
Paladin will look at you and go, no, fuck off.
Exactly. And so it's not that the charm failed. He was obviously charmed.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply that asking him to leave was something he was absolutely unwilling or unable to do. And therefore, it didn't matter that he was charmed.
Yeah, it just made it seem like how you were wording it originally made it like he was 100% unable. But it's more so like he, his will
that is
is higher.
What intent you got from him was that he was, in fact, he felt that he was unable to leave. He thinks he's unable to leave.
Which would be a proper response to being charmed and told to leave your home when you don't want to leave your home because you'll die.
Right.
Okay. So, no, I guess we're going plan B then.
Well.
And just to double check, the Love Pilfer doesn't have the same effect that the Charmed spell does, right? They won't know.
It doesn't say anything.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything. I was just rereading it. Double check.
How much time remains?
You got about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, sir. It has been very illuminating. I know at least I need to get going. Freeman, we could honestly use you with us for what we got to get done next with the day's itinerary.
I'll stay in chat here for another, 5 minutes or so. I'll catch up to you guys. I'm staying with the intent of being inside when the firebomb goes off, and he's still under effect of charm. To specify why Freeman's staying. Quit DMing me, just talk.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so you're intending to stay in there when the firebomb grenade stuff goes off.
Yes, like near the front of the store by him. And then he'll still be under the effect of charm, and maybe with the fire I can persuade him to leave. If not, then I will just leave. Letting him deal with the fire on his own.
Also, if he's a potent wizard, we might want to be calling it soon.
All right. So you wait.
People.
We can call it before the firebomb goes off.
No, there's really no need. As the firebomb goes off, There's a big kaboom. Flames shoot out. He is rather surprised by this.
Oh,
And-
shit bomb.
And let's see. You put it back far enough so that neither of you are actually in the blast radius. That was your
Yep.
intent, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
If it were possible to be in the blast radius, I'd like to be in the blast radius.
You said you were leaving.
Yeah, you left.
Fair enough.
Why would you want to be in the blast radius? Run that by me. I'm just curious now.
Plausible deniability. You wouldn't have placed a bomb that would injure your allies.
You don't know Freeman very well, then.
No, that's my point.
I
Like-
know. I would
So
think,
he
like,
begins
that's fine.
casting his spell when he sees this. And as he casts it, he appears to have summoned a water elemental. And he directs it to start hosing down the fire. And as it begins suppressing the fire, I think that is where we will call it for the evening.
Alrighty.